Ladies love the skin.
Ow.
Bring it a little bit closer. The good skin there.
What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But there's hope. And to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Ali, San Luis, Val Van Dam, Jay, a story to tell, MJ, Hink, Biz, Shane Monet, Mistaken, and myself, and Lapeef JR. What's going on, family?
Chilling. What's going on with y'all?
Hello.
Peace and blessings.
What it do?
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday, Mistaken. You always, I don't know, you sound like the
Hi,
chancellor.
everyone.
Hey, who's that?
Saint.
Okay, yeah, y'all got to kill one of those mics. So somebody got to go on mute because it's coming in double time. Are y'all good now, Saint? All right. It's good to see you guys, man. Happy Sunday. As they say, let's go get the housekeeping out the way. Shout out to the sponsor, T. Shanley. T. Shanley, uncomplicated skincare for men. 40% off. You guys get 40% off along with a free gift. This is for men's skincare. 40% off along with a free gift. And if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. So click that link that's in the description and fill a T, as I always say. Also, We have Assured Man, King on top. This is for your beard. If your beard don't connect, if it's patchy, if you are struggling to get the growth going, King on top. I suggest get the whole kit. We do got a 2-pack. So for you guys that's already rocking and rolling, go ahead and get the 2-pack. But if you're looking to get the whole full system and you want the ladies to be raving about your beard, get the King on top 4-pack. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Dale Matthew already in the house, 25 month member. Salute to you. Let's get the likes up. What else we got in here? We got Big Bama 44. Sweeney said get them likes up. Got Haas Buchanan. Infirm ISC. Mr. BX87. Dale Matthews. Salute to everybody, man, that's in the chat. We do have one of the livest chats, and sometimes they do get active. But we appreciate you. And for the people that's not in the chat, I suggest you go ahead and everybody struggle streaming it today. Everybody good? Y'all good? Y'all okay?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
All right, just let me know if tech support. We can see if we can get tech support, give you guys a call so we can troubleshoot and process through that situation. I think we got Viz back. Good, Viz?
Yeah, I can't see the comments.
Oh, but you guys are just ready to see that. Let me go ahead and turn the comments on, man. But y'all got to stay at the chat, man.
Oh, okay. You did that intentionally. My bad. I'm like, is my shit tweaking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Pardon body.
Still at it. I'll stay out of it. I don't type anyway.
I don't know, man. Some of y'all pay attention to the chat more than y'all pay attention to what's going on. Call in like, huh? Y'all say, huh? Oh, yeah. I must have missed the video. Can you play that back again?
I like reading the chat.
Okay. Well, I'll go to get the chat going momentarily, man. How's everybody's Sunday going? Any special plans, y'all? Y'all laying low today because y'all been kicking it all weekend? I'm assuming that one of y'all went to church because y'all here.
I went to church.
Okay, got the early service.
And I think later on I'm gonna just look at the big event that's happening, the internet boxing event that's happening. So
okay, got you. All right. Let's see what else we got going on. Cham, on there, you
are going to the air and water show today in the beach. So Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. I used to think Sunday fun day was only in Texas, but apparently everybody has adopted that same Sunday fun day.
It's beautiful in Chicago today.
Yeah, you know Sunday fun day crack in Chicago, bro.
Okay. All right. Let's make sure we just mute in between. Val Van Dam, I'm gonna mute you only because we're hearing the background noise. But just make sure you mute in between. So whenever you need to speak, just come off of mute, and then whenever you wanna,
got it.
Just take it off. There you go. All right. Chamonix still recovering? You good? So you got the coffee. I hear you, man. I got my coffee too. Can't live without it. I'm just stalling a little bit, y'all. Don't ask me why, but I'm just trying to cue this topic up, cue the video.
Y'all watched that USA game this morning? You see the girls pulled it out?
Yeah, the guys won gold too.
Yeah, the guys won yesterday. The girls won this morning.
Yeah.
Barely.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started, man. I got the video ready. First topic we're going to discuss should be quite interesting here. You guys take on this. It is every man should have women in his life that teach him. Every man should have women in his life that teach him. Y'all agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it should be a fast conversation since everybody agrees. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video.
Friend, love her to death, right? She's like my annoying ass big sister. She be pissing me off. But the conversations we have come from a completely different point of view, right? So when I'm expressing myself and I'm telling my side of the story, or if I'm telling my perspective of something that I went through with a girl that I talked to, whatever the case may be, she responds back to me from a point of view of, hey, stop letting this girl play with you like this because this is what she's on. And I feel like every man on the planet needs that. And the fucking problem right now in our world is that a lot of men are teaching men how to interact with women, but there's not a lot of women teaching men how to interact with women. And then the women who are teaching the men how to interact aren't being listened to. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying straight up that I got women in my life that give me game for real. They really, really give me game. They really tell me very, very potent shit. And I wish those type of friendships over all of these men out here interacting with women, because where are you going to get raw, uncut information about how to treat a woman better from other than a woman?
It's like it might have been a whole word, right? I'm gonna go to you, Saint. I see you nodding your head the hardest.
Oh, well, all
Every
facts.
man should have women in his life that teach him. Go ahead.
I definitely agree with that because you need a woman's perspective. You know, sometimes guys be just listening to all guys. Guys don't know. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. As simple as that.
Okay. Short, sweet, and simple. And I understand that some men feel like some men feel as though a woman can't teach a man, but we're gonna just stay on topic right here with every man.
One more thing, I think that's important too, that men lead other men, because I don't believe that women can really teach a man, but a woman can teach a man how to treat a woman and how to, but yeah.
Okay. All right, Miss Val Van Dam, I'm gonna go to you. What are your thoughts about it?
And it goes both ways. I think that we should be able to teach each other that in a relationship or any type of business arrangement, that I should be able to learn from you and you can learn from me, because we all bring different backgrounds.
Okay. I'm gonna go to you, Viz.
Man, so I'll say first, I wish that we would stop saying that we love people to death. I don't think we really pay attention to what that means. If we say that I feel like I love you to life gives more to it than that. So I'll just kick it off with that. I definitely agree with what he's saying. I think that men can tell you how to love a woman, but a woman shows you. You know, it varies from woman to woman, and I think with women and it being so ever changing for them, you kind of have to stay on your toes to really, keep up to date with that. So I do agree with them. But yeah, I think that men can tell you how to love a woman, but a woman is going to show you how to love women. And that's two different things.
Okay. Go ahead, Allie.
I definitely think it's a delicate dance, and the part that I wanted to spin off of that a little bit more is I think that the men who have been raised around women that had a lot of sisters are more well versed when they enter relationships, because I've heard it many times where men will say, "Oh, I've seen what so and so did to my sister and how that hurt, and I want to do better and be better." So it's like men like that, I think, are more easily able to learn from a woman than men who haven't been raised around sisters or other women. So it's pretty easy to spot that when you see that happening. But no, I would agree that men learning from women is a great thing, as long as that man is open to it, And I think that word that we hate, toxic masculinity, that's a red flag if they're not open to it, and it's easy to spot. So as long as they're not showcasing any of those characteristics, then they should be just fine learning from their lady.
All right. Go ahead, Miss MJ.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think that there's definitely certain things that men can learn from women and vice versa. However, it does depend on who you're getting the advice from and their motives behind it, because between men and women, they can give you bad advice that doesn't help you or affects you in the long run, or you can get good advice. But none, to have that kind of different perspective put out there for you, and someone trying to make you understand a different perspective that you normally wouldn't reach to, I think that's always beneficial because we should be trying to be well-rounded individuals anyway.
All right. Go ahead, Brother Hink.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree with that bullshit. Because, see, that's the problem we got now. They learn from their women what they call their mothers. And so they was raised by single mothers who taught them supposedly how to love, how to act. And that's why these men act the way they do. That's why these men act like women. So y'all get mad and talk about, well, why they act so emotional? Because they learned it from their mother. That woman y'all talking about, that's who they learned it from. That's what they learned, that behavior, that way they act, they move, they carry themselves, how they respond to certain things, how they're not even to the point they can't even calm down because they're so emotional. And when you got an emotional man, that's a dangerous man. So women been teaching men most of their lives. So why do we need to continue this bad cycle? We don't. We need the men teaching them. I don't want my son to just be raised about his mother so he can learn to be a woman. He can learn how to put on makeup and put on stockings. And now he want to be out here sucking dick. Is this what I want my son to learn? How to act and move and act and carry like a woman? No, it's too much of that. It needs to be more men involved. It needs to be more men involved in the situation. So a man could teach me how to interact with. Look, a woman's going to tell me how to do everything to cater to her. But what about the times when she's not acting like a woman or not acting like a lady? I need to know. She ain't going to teach me that. She's always going to say, oh, the woman's always right. Do this, do that. Yeah, cool. But I need that man to be in there telling me, no, dog. There's going to be times where that woman's going to act a fool. How are you going to respond? How are you going to carry yourself? Am I going to teach her how to act like another woman? Because so now I got my son who's acting like a woman and a woman who is a woman. They're going to be bumping heads because there's no emotional control in the house because he was never taught that, because he learned everything he needed to know how to deal with a woman from a woman. So he's going to move like a woman. That's not how we need to be continue to move. We got too much of it now. We need to stop this, bring more men in to teach men, and women need to teach women. That's my opinion.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Taken.
Totally disagree. I just think
with Hink or with the guy?
With Hink's perspective and the fact that there's nothing that a woman can teach a man in regards to relationship. I think the idea is that the relationship is to be interdependent. So it's not an issue in which the man dictates everything, because in that regard, her needs are going to be neglected. He's assuming that he's meeting her needs based on his perspective of how a woman needs to be treated versus her telling him what I need from you. So I think that is part of the issue that would create a dynamic in a relationship where the woman needs or feels like her needs aren't being met. I think about my brother. Actually, he been married for a few years now, and he will hear us as his siblings, because he's the only guy, that he said, I learned a lot just hearing from y'all conversations about how I can be a better husband to my wife. So if it is your intention to be a good husband, I think it would only behoove you to take feedback from women, that you trust, especially your wife. You marry her, so she should be able to give you some feedback in terms of things that she would need from you. And you should be open to receiving feedback from women that you care about as well.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Chamonix.
I mean, everybody's pretty much summed it up pretty well. I think that it is important to seek a person who is knowledgeable and who moves the way you want the way a female should truly move, right? I don't think that you should just seek knowledge from any woman about women. Women are not all the same. We are not. We cannot agree on any. Most people don't even agree on, certain topics. But if you're asking about a woman's body, if you want to know about certain things of that nature, yeah, you can ask a woman. I think that that's important to do. But I do think that men, when it comes to leadership, and things of that nature, you should seek it from a man who is leading in a way in which you would like to be led. I mean, being the leader that you would like to be. That's what I'm saying. I think that just going to anybody is the problem. And you should do that with any aspect of your life. If you're trying to run a business, go to somebody who's already successful in the business. If you're trying to learn about women, go to a woman who moves the way you want your woman to move. That's all I can say about the situation.
Okay. Is there anybody that wanted to respond to anybody? I'm gonna come to you next, Jay, but anybody say anything
Yeah.
that go ahead, Saint. I'm gonna go to Saint first, then I go to you, Hank.
Okay.
No, I understand what Hank was saying. As far as a woman telling a man how to be a man, but as far as telling a man how to be in a relationship with a woman, I feel like yes, we can, but I don't think we can teach a man how to be a man. Like, I don't think that's what we're trying to do. I think we're trying to teach men how to treat a lady. That's all.
Go ahead, Hank.
So sound like Shan agrees with me without saying, and that's okay, Shan. You don't have to give me my credit. I see your buddy up top didn't agree with me, and I'm okay with that. But again, nobody said nothing about marriage.
So I agree. I want to
go
say I agree real fast. I do agree with some of the things that you said. I think it's important that you choose the right, and then men should follow men who are doing, But yes, I agree with a lot.
Welcome to the dark side, Shan. Welcome. Let me say this. Nobody said about marriage because I got to know how to treat you before marriage. So my wife can't teach me that. I need to learn that before she becomes my wife. First things first, I got to know how she is before I even know as a girlfriend. I need to know how to act to her and engage with her prior to even going to school. That's when I need to be learning in my adolescence. Y'all talking about marriage? No. I need to know how to operate around girls before they become women. First things first. And that's what my father comes in to teach me, how to act and respond and carry myself. My mother's not, what is she going to teach me about this? Some of these things y'all talk about, I don't even need to know just yet. Not as a young boy. Now, when I'm looking to pursue a woman, yes, maybe y'all can teach me certain things. But I know there's only a certain amount of things y'all gonna teach because guess what? Y'all gonna tell me every woman's beautiful, every woman's right. She could never do no wrong. You should do this with one woman, and a lot of women don't deserve those type of treatments you're telling these young boys or young men to do for a woman. They don't deserve it, but yet you want us to do that. But I promise you, let me tell you what you're not doing. You're not teaching your daughters how to treat a man. But I'm not. It's something totally different.
All right. What you laughing at, Val?
I love him. I agree with a lot of stuff he's saying. Some things that I taught my husband is his daughter or my stepdaughter's mom passed away, and as she was getting his daughter was getting into her teenage years, she was struggling with her sexuality, and she is now like a tomboy. She likes girls, and she actually came out to me. So I had to teach him how to handle that delicately because at first he was kind of upset about it and was kind of like treating her like a boy. He was upset at that. So I had to teach him how to like finesse that situation. I had to teach him with work, like when he has conflict at work, how to be calm and cool and not be a hothead. I had to teach him about like when he started up his LLC and getting the bank accounts. So it wasn't just teaching him just how to treat me and teaching him manly things. It was just like just fundamentals in life. So it even goes broader than just a relationship. What can you bring to the table to better your partner?
Okay. Look at St. Louis. She got the
Yeah, so I had to choose myself.
I'm slowly pulling to the dark side, one at a time.
What?
Go ahead.
Can I just say this? I think what it is what Saint Larice was saying, where I think Hink is misunderstanding. I'm saying that men need to listen to their woman, or whether they're their wife, the girlfriend, like he was saying prior to, I need to know, she's in that stage, she's going to teach you what she needs, and either you're going to meet that or not, right? So what's that saying about, you teach people how you want to be treated? And the idea of saying, like, what can your mother teach you, kind of feels like you may feel like women don't have nothing to offer you, because I think that should be your first teacher about how to interact with women. Not saying that your father isn't going to teach you, because he should, especially if both of them are in a household. But being able to watch the way that your dad treats your mom is going to show you one thing, but seeing how your mom treats your dad and interact with your dad will also teach you some things as well. So that having both of those dynamic makes you a more well-rounded and prepared person for when you enter a relationship with somebody else. And I mean, maybe my situation is different in terms of the way I grew up, but my mom wasn't just a person to be like, all women are right, or you got to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I just think maybe that has been your experience. But when you have good parenting, there's correction coming from both ends. You get it from your mom and your dad. Your mom is going to gauge you in a way of saying, no, young ladies, don't do this. No, when you speak to men, you do X, Y, and Z, or what have you. So I just think that that's probably your experience that you've had growing up. But I no.
I would agree with Miss Taken a lot on that. That really hit a chord for me, because me personally, growing up in a house with two separate cultures, two separate languages, that was constant. The community, my parents been together 38 years, and they learn from each other on a regular basis to this day. The communication had to go both ways with everything that they've been able to accomplish in life. And it wouldn't, and my dad is very receptive of my mom. Everything down to how to set the rice cooker, to how to communicate what she feels, how she feels about family relationships, this and that and the third. So I totally agree with everything that you've said, Miss Taken.
I would like to say is that to Hank's point, I get what he's trying to say, as in, men really need to take ownership of making sure that they're cultivating these boys to understand manhood. But definitely with the rest of the ladies, when it comes down to understanding women and how to treat their women, there is some good insight that they can get from women. We tend to forget that women used to be the original educators and the rendering of children way before. Like, most of our school systems was only just women as teachers. So these were the ones who was instructed to teach the future. So now to undermine what women have always brung when it came down to our future in this society is kind of disheartening, especially for me. With my job, I have almost over 20 years of being a leader over men, and that and leading them. So for you to say that in a way that we can't do this and we can't do that is kind of disheartening. It's definitely his opinion, but there has been roles where women have been able to help men as much as possible, but we can't tell them what they're going to go through when it's like being with manhood and how they're supposed to deal with other men, right? Especially when it's coming to competing for jobs, women, and resources. We can't teach them that, but there is things that we definitely can help them with. So
Somebody come off the mic. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
I think a male-female relationship is definitely very powerful if you can attain it. However, you can attain it, because it usually happens. You have friend zone. I mean, you have people that were actually raised up together. So I know those friendships are achieved, but most of it comes from one person being attracted to the other and the feeling not being mutual. And feelings evolve in that, which usually stray them away from each other. But if they can fight through that, it's a beneficial friendship.
I think women can teach men about women. I don't think they can teach men how to treat women because there's so many different archetypes of women that a woman knows about, and they can give you insight. You know, you at the salon with them, some of them are in your friend group, some of them are in your group chat. You know those types, so you can definitely give us insight on the archetype of the different women, but I don't think you could ever teach us how to treat women because you would we would get destroyed out there. You know, the stuff, the information that you would provide us, the stuff you would tell us to do, we would get destroyed out there if you were saying do that. I think you give us insight on how to identify what we want or what's more our type. And that's beneficial.
Okay. Go ahead, Viz.
Well,
Yeah,
Jay agreed too.
yeah, I definitely agree with Jay. I think if men solely listen to women, it'll absolutely be a catastrophe. Like it'll be horrible. And that'll it's a quick way to burn. But I think that there is in all things in life, there's a balance that has to be applied. So just being aware of that goes a long way. There's a lot of things that me and my old lady that we view differently, but due to the fact that she understands that this is what I stand on and I won't be swayed on, she respects it. But I also take that into thought whenever there's something that's being presented where it should be applied or even considered. I know recently we was just having a conversation on empathy. Me personally, I'm not the biggest person or fan of empathy in certain situations, but just being aware of the context, um, you know, I know when to apply it and when not to. So I think that we can all learn something from each other. We just have to be open to it. And even to Hink's point, I do agree with what he's saying, and I think maybe it's just coming off more harsh. But of course, he's intending it to be very direct. But I, I think that we are currently seeing the aftermath of women predominantly influencing our young boys, and that's why a lot of them are soft or coming out the closet or wearing heels or painting their fingernails or whatever. Yeah, sure. There's a sense of them expressing themselves, but are they expressing themselves, or are they just expressing what they've been influenced by?
Go ahead,
Can
Shane.
I, so I think that I hear what Viz is saying, but I think it's more because there's an imbalance. There are women, but then there are no men. I think if we had men doing the same amount as the women, there would be a balance in it. And so the problem is not because of women. It's just, well, it's not because of women, but it's simply because there needs to be a balance. There needs to be more men and women together influencing women. Kids need masculine and they need feminine energy. They need both. So they have different roles in people's lives. So I think that that's the issue.
No, I agree with that. But I think that it is we see often the extreme of everything. That seems to be the thing that's riding right now. It's the extreme of women wanting to push their influence, and it's the extreme of men wanting to push their influence. So we have the toxic masculinity, the toxic feminists, or the alphabet people. Everybody is to the extreme right now. So
And that's probably because they too have been raised in a situation where they had one or the other, too much of one or the other. They come from a place that was an imbalance, so they keep preaching. It's a generational curse. It just keeps on giving.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, I won't be surprised, man. What's it? Like MGTOW, that's extreme. It's like don't deal with anything. You know what I mean? Don't. What's the next extreme after that?
It's scary, bro.
It's gonna be dudes being like, "Yo, man, let's go get castrated," so you don't even have to think about it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a movement of cats talking about, "Yo, man, just cut your dicks off, man. It'll save you a lot of time in life." Exactly. It's extreme. Y'all are absolutely right.
But that won't come from a woman.
No. Nah. I'm saying, like, you know how it keeps getting more.
Yeah, I mean, shit, we're even at a point where most people can't even tell you what a woman is. You know what I'm saying? So it's God knows what's next.
Yep. Val, did you want to say something? Like you might was going. You good?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on? Yeah.
We are beneficial to each other.
And we need both energies. We need masculine and femininity. Both. It's not exclusive to one gender.
Facts.
One more thing. You know how often my son, well, I wouldn't say often, he's called me several times to ask for advice about how he should handle a situation with his wife from a female perspective and being married. He's, newly married, young, married, and there's a lot that he doesn't know. So he goes to his dad for certain things, but he understands that he's learning learning his wife in the capacity of a husband, and being that he grew up with me and his dad together, he trusts both of our judgments in regards to that. But specifically when it comes to his wife, it may be something that he doesn't understand. Like, why, like the sentence might start off, why do women blah, blah, blah. That's because he can't go to his dad about explaining something like that, because his dad would never know why women do X, Y, and Z. Because his dad thinks,
Shit,
oh,
women don't know why they do X, Y, and Z half the
no,
time.
his thing is all women are crazy, right? so he's not gonna understand the emotional aspect to a woman. So it makes sense that his son would come to me to help navigate him through some of the things that his wife might be doing that he doesn't understand. So that's another way that a woman can kind of impart some knowledge, to you that'll help you be better.
Yeah, that's a problem. Why is he coming to you to know about his wife?
Because his dad can't
That's a
tell
problem.
him.
He shouldn't be coming to neither one of y'all. I need to go to my wife. If I got an issue or something I can't figure out my wife, baby, what's going on? Let's have a conversation. Why am I talking to you? You're not my wife. Your husband is not his wife. I need to be talking to my wife and trying to get clarity from her.
I'm sorry,
Not
you
from
don't
my
have
mother,
support
not from my auntie. Don't do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Don't do that.
When they say it
I'm
takes
glad
a village.
you're making fun of. Okay, I'm glad you're making fun of men who don't have the support system, as you call it. But most men don't have the support system, as you call it. But you can make fun of me if you want to. That shit don't bother me. Women don't move me like that. I'm better than that.
Oh.
So again, why is a man going to his mother to ask about his wife? And why can't I have a conversation with my wife to talk about what's going on with her? What's wrong with that? That should be the first thing. I shouldn't be coming to somebody else about my wife. I know my wife better than any other woman. I know maybe her mother. I give her granted a benefit of that. But I need to be going to my wife to ask her about her, inquiring about what's wrong, baby. What's the problem? Why are you down? What are you upset about? That's the way it should be. I shouldn't be going outside for what? What are you going? What are you? Why are you involving yourself in the business? It shouldn't be. So you could pass judgment on this woman? Yeah, that's sickening.
Oh, I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that with with
Hold on, Biz.
women, sometimes
Can I
they want.
respond since he was responding to what I was saying, just real quick?
Go ahead.
Only because the situation is that I think that's part of the problem why marriages don't last. It's some people that you need to have in your corner, especially elders, to help guide you. My son got married at 21, and he's navigating learning to become a man, which I can't help him with. That's something his dad has to navigating being his own man while at the simultaneously being a husband, right? So the fact that he has a support system, I'm not going to gear my son wrong because I want his marriage to succeed. He grew up in a home where his parents was married, and I want the same for him. So I want him to avoid pitfalls that we did early on in our marriage. So he comes to us, not just him, even my daughter-in-law. She calls me too. And I agree with you. It needs to be a situation in which they are communicating with each other. But if both of them are coming to say, how do I approach this situation? It's okay to get feedback from people to help you. So, I mean, like I said, if I think that's part of the problem is that we always try to figure things out on our own without necessarily having elders to go to that's going to give us that advice that is something that you've never experienced before or things like that. But it is not you just go to tell anybody your business. It's about somebody who also wants to see you succeed in your marriage as well. And
I got a question. I got a question for Miss Taken. So when your son or your daughter-in-law came to you, did you listen to what the issue was first, or did you suggest to them to speak with one another and see if they can figure it out? Because that's the way it's supposed to be.
typically when either one has come to me, it's because of a situation that already like happened, and they're trying to see how they can better like make the situation better, something like that. So I would say yes, they've already went towards each other, but now it's just like, well, I'm stuck. Like, how should I approach this situation this way? Or if I do it this way, what's gonna, he's just not knowing how to read certain signs and cues of a woman yet, because he's still learning. He hasn't had that much experience in relationship prior to being married. So he does need some guidance from the female side of it in terms of understanding certain things that his wife might do or say, or what this really mean, because what she's saying ain't really what she mean, like that kind of stuff. He hasn't had the experience to learn those things yet. So he does need a little support in that regard.
Yeah, I was gonna say that in most cases, and no disrespect to the women on the panel, but for communication between men and women is completely different. So I can ask you a very direct question, and you give me an answer, and unknowingly I'm supposed to be listening to what you're not saying, much rather than listening to what it is that you are saying. The actual truth of it all would be in that part. And I think that is in that situation, I think that and I do agree with him. I think that whatever happens in this house should stay in this house. But at the same time, I think that with the situation for mistaken, it sounds like he was seeking knowledge, but also wanting to vent at the same time. Because even in that case, I would have asked you, but I would have followed it up with asking my father. Okay, well, how would you, or how have you navigated through this experience? Because again, mistaken, you can tell me the surface level of it, or what it sounds like, or what it may feel like, but dad is going to actually tell me, okay, well, I've experienced this before, and this is how I applied it, or you should try this type of deal, where it makes more sense compared to how to come across to a woman, well, from a woman.
Yeah, I got you. All right, we do gotta with that transition to the next topic, but I think everybody made some excellent points. One of the things I have to understand, Hink, it's not directly to you, but I know you spoke about it, is that there's some men that just don't have no experience with women. You know, like my lens is much different from some folks, and I had to kind of put myself in their shoes, and they just wasn't getting results with women when they were younger. They haven't really dated anybody. They've been played by every woman, but I gained off all my experience by having relationships and dealing and having conversations with women. But I've been doing that all my life. So nobody taught me. Now, there have been some things that I've learned, even just by having these panels, that I didn't know because I just wasn't having conversations with the right people, or my circle of people that was around me. They were kind of similar with their mindsets. But once I started hearing different perspectives from all walks of life and people I've never known, it's like, now I'm getting some more data. So some people are grown and they lost. They have no clue, no understanding how to communicate. They don't understand how the opposite set works. They don't even understand themselves. So I think they have to get to a point where they're built up some type of way. Now, to each his own, whether it be the man or the woman that's going to be able to teach them, or it could be a little bit of both. But they just got to get it in a position where they're doing more listening instead of talking. A lot of times I just observe. By default, I'm an introvert. So I'm always looking and reading rooms, reading people. I understand body language. I understand nonverbal communication. I just observe everything. And then I collect all the data that I need. And then most of the time, that's how I make my decision, is once I have enough information, or I have no problem making a decision and just leaning on whichever side that I feel is best at the time. And if it's not correct, guess what? I'll come back and I'll fix it. But some things are just time sensitive. So we have to get to a place where adults are adults. Some of them just going to be lost forever. But we got to get to a place where at least our children or people that's within our household, some always preach that we are giving them the game and the knowledge so that they don't be what the past people have been in the future, if that makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I see the chat is active. Appreciate you guys for being respectful. Dale Matthew, remember, like stuff, I did this one already. But Harrison Davis, $10, says salute. LL Unkman says salute to Hink. Bunch of emojis and heart face for MJ. And then we got Rilla, says nice hat. JR, bear down. Rilla was the one that actually copped this hat. This is a Leaders hat. So Leaders is a Chicago brand, just in case you guys are not familiar with it. So thank you, Chicago Rilla, for the pickup. Appreciate that, sir. And bear down, man. Bears looking, I don't know. I seen the first preseason highlights and like it's gonna be good for us, Hank. Viz, you a Bears fan?
Man, honestly, I really don't even watch sports no more. I stopped watching sports when Jordan retired.
Oh, that's a long time ago, bro. Long time. You just gave up on sports. I hear you. I can tell you ain't gonna be having no sport events, man. We ain't watching the fight at your crib.
Hey, I said pull up.
Right.
I'll turn it on, but you know what I'm saying? I damn near ain't gonna know who is who.
All right, moving on to our next topic, man. Some men struggle with rejection. Some men struggle with rejection. That's the next topic. I'm gonna play this clip.
Ever not give somebody my number ever again. I had a pretty traumatizing experience.
By not giving
them my number. There was 3 gentlemen that came into my bar, and then there was one that was kind of in the middle, but he was flashy. He was always like showing off his money, asked for my number multiple times. I kept saying I was good. He was like, if you don't give me your number, I'm gonna get it one way or the other. So if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna follow you out to your car and I'm gonna take it. The night goes on, he's refusing to pay his tab. He's like, I'll pay my tab once you give me your number. And I was like, bro, it's not that serious. Like, my manager comes out. She's like, all right, guys, it's time to, you know what I'm saying, pack it up and go, pay your tabs. And he's like, I ain't paying shit. So he took all of his money and threw it in her face and was like, pick my money up, bitch. They started grabbing glasses off of my bar and started chucking them at all of my coworkers and my managers. They assaulted my bar back. They started flipping chairs over, throwing food. They destroyed our, if you know what a POS system is, that little computer that people use to ring stuff in.
Yeah.
They caused about a couple $1,000s worth of damage. The cops got called or whatever, got them up out of there. But it was real scary because they were acting like they had a gun. Like, I don't think people really realize how dangerous it is to be a woman nowadays. Just something as simple as saying no thank you can set a man not in his right frame of mind over the top. I'm like, it's not even worth the headache. I have a block button. I can just take your number and block you whenever I get home.
Some men struggle with rejection. We'll start with you, MJ.
Yeah, some men do struggle with rejection. It does get very violent. Since I'm up here in the city, we had that situation with the lady coming home for work, and because she refused to allow a group of guys to buy alcohol for her when she went to go get wine, they ended up jumping her, and the eye situation. That situation happened. It's unfortunate. A lot of women are scared now. We don't know why it's getting to the point where it's the rejection that the men are feeling is so bad that they have to resort to, well, I'm the larger vessel, I'm the stronger vessel, so now I don't have to be the quote unquote gentleman. I can act in my natural nature, which is like brute force. It's not beneficial. It doesn't help us. It makes women more scared. Makes women don't feel comfortable around men, and even it could be a man who don't even show those type of traits. It's like women being I guess like being on alarm, or having their wall up initially all the time over time, and have to look over their shoulders now. It's unfortunate, really, but yeah, I do see it happen. I'm just lucky I never had that type of experience. Most of the guys that if I had to reject them because I am polite to them and I just say I'm not interested, but thank you so much. Thank you for even, acknowledging me, or things like, they usually are very nice and cool, and they say, all right, beautiful, just have a good day. So I'm fortunate that I haven't had that experience, but I'm not going to take away for the women who did have that.
Okay. Go ahead, Val Van Dam. Some men struggle with rejection. You're on mute, just so you know, man.
Sorry. With my experience on that, I feel you never know who you're fucking with. Like you never know who they are. So when I'm alone, anytime, even with my friends, I handle it with grace. I politely tell them I'm married, and then the guys will come back with, so what? What does that have to do with me? And I just handle it like gracefully and politely, so I don't antagonize the situation. I'm not rude to people. So that's how I handle it. And I haven't had any unfortunate circumstances like women had with violence in that.
Okay, so if a man was pressuring you for your number, would you give him your number? And if so, would you give him the real number just in case he called on the spot?
I do. I give it because I also run a business, and that could be potentially a new client for my event space, or I offer like date nights or video. We do photography and music videos and commercials. So again, you never know who you're meeting. That could possibly be a potential client, and if he's trying to date and I'm unavailable, I have a lot of girlfriends, so I don't turn people away. I'm trying to accumulate as many as many contacts as I can.
Okay, happy that. Go ahead, Sham Monet.
I ain't never had nobody get that crazy. They might call you a name or something, in the younger years. But, I usually gentlemen, they'll understand. They'll apply pressure, but once you don't give in, they understand. But I do think that this has become at this time, especially in this generation, it's becoming entitled. They're very entitled to people. And when you don't get your way, you may handle things, and it's not even about just rejection. It's about anything. The way they react to things when they don't get their way, very spoiled. group of people, they act crazy like this. They don't know how to, control themselves. It's absolutely ridiculous. But personally, I haven't had anything of that nature, but I have had like people say some, inappropriate things. So I just keep walking. Have a blessed day, dear, and just keep it moving. But I have seen, people calling people getting and being like real bad with it and like just keep on walking. You just say to a friend, just keep on walking. Let's leave. And I do know that there was a time when I had to get a fake number because Google gives out numbers. Give them a fake number so they can call. You can see. So women have started to do that. But yeah, it's crazy out here when it comes to dating. I don't know what's going on, JR. Crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, get home safe. You know what I mean? Whatever you have to do to get home safe, because there are truly some suckers out here. The male ego is fragile. It's very fragile. I mean, I've never done anything to that extent. Rejection hurts, and for a long period of time, it did hurt. But not to the point where I wanted to take somebody off the planet or I wanted to strangle somebody. But and this is not throwing any excuses. I have seen some women be very disrespectful in their rejection, for whatever reasons. And I'm just like, and I'm thinking to her, like, yo, this dude could break your neck right here and just get in his car and leave. I'm thinking that too. Like, if women that are like that, like, yo, keep us safe. Say no, thank you. I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you. I'm not interested. Try to be polite as possible. Try to make it home safe. But I've seen some women just air some dudes out, just, and I know how it is as a man. You work up the heart, man. You sitting at the bar and you like, damn, man, should I walk over there, man? You working up the energy to, the nerve to just walk to their table, and then you walk over there and somebody just air you out in front of the damn restaurant. Like, that shit is destruction. You know what I'm saying? So you have
with Jesus. And can I just add on to something you said, Jay? I think that's the most important thing. I have a tendency, if a guy I don't like I'll say, oh, thank you. You just made my day. And then I was like, if I can't, I'm sorry. You have to. I've seen people, especially my students, I get on my girls for this. They'll joke on them. And I'm like, you don't even know what kind of day that dude has got. You don't know what his home life is like. And that could be the tipping point. You just lit them up. So I do that. I agree with that, Jay. That's
so since 2020, like me personally, everybody gets grace. Step on my shoes, cut me off in traffic. We in the line at the supermarket. Everybody gets grace because you don't know what people are going through. You understand what I'm saying? And like you said, Shane, you don't know what people's tipping point is. This dude has been having a terrible week, but he sees this beautiful woman and he walks over to the table, and then all her friends, they just air him out, like, and he walks back to that bar thinking, I should just murder this entire restaurant. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people are going through. Shit is getting real tough right now internally, man. People are fronting. You see Instagram people smiling in front of damn foreign cars, but people are about to go crazy. They're going crazy internally. So give everybody grace, get home safe, yo. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to say, yes, give everyone grace. That's also included women, because again, you might see this woman, you think she's beautiful. You don't know what she's going through. Sometimes she doesn't necessarily need to hear somebody say to tell her that she should smile. You don't know if she got kicked out of her home. You don't know if she lost her job. You don't know if she got in a big argument with a family member or a loved one or lost one. You see, so again, it's on both sides. So I definitely agree with you. Give people grace and not just necessarily think that everything they're doing is just because it's you. It could be, other hidden things that's happening in their life, especially if they're strangers.
I do have a question. So why is it such a big issue of men telling women they should smile or you should smile or whatever? Why? I know that was a big thing a couple years back or recently. But like, why I never understood why that was a problem.
It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead,
you can go. Yeah,
Oh,
you
you
can.
saw Shimona? Okay,
I
thank you. I was just gonna say that I don't really think it's a problem of saying smile, right? Like we are smart enough, women are smart enough to know if a man's saying that you should smile, that he thinks that you're beautiful enough that he would just love to see a smile on your face. We get that. But it comes off as you don't necessarily, if I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to smile. That, me smiling is not going to take away whatever bad emotion or feeling that I'm having right now. So now it leads on the level of being forced to make you comfortable. You want me to smile, not because I'm comfortable.
So why
It's
why is there the
it's-
assumption why is there the assumption that he wants you to smile to make him comfortable much
Because
rather
if she
than,
wanted to smile, she would be smiling.
And sometimes I think that
but
people just
okay,
have things on. Okay,
go ahead, Shan. Go ahead, Shan.
And sometimes I think that people just have things on their mind. It's almost like when you go to the store and they be like, "Hey, what's your cell phone carrier?" You know, you know how you just be like, "Hi, I just don't want to talk." It's like you're in a moment. You could be thinking about some stuff. You got the list in your head, and you just threw me off. And you're right. You could be just having a bad day. You can have a day. And you like smile. It's not a problem with saying smile, but do you go up to white women and say smile, smile? They don't be
Yeah.
smiling either.
I mean, if the person approached you, right, and I think that it doesn't even matter if they're attracted to you or whatnot. If
It's just weird.
you're sitting if we're both at the restaurant, I can see you off to my side and you just have this blank face or whatever, right? And to me, I'm assuming that when men do that, because whenever I've done it, I don't think I've done it like often like that, but whenever I have done it, or I would assume when people do it, it's because they want to uplift you, you know. So I think, to me, that's the majority reason why men do it, is because, one, either you look upset and, okay, well, maybe I can uh uplift this person in some type of way and spark a conversation, right, to potentially help her have a better day, right? I know another big thing is Black women feel that they aren't protected. So maybe this is my way of showing that I'm willing to protect this woman that I don't know.
So let
Or
me
it could be the spark of the conversation. Like, there's
let
so
me ask
many
you a
different
question.
avenues that it can take.
Let me ask you a question. Do you go to? Is it okay to go to random dudes and be like, smile?
I mean,
I mean,
shit.
it's just the stranger
Wait,
aspect.
wait,
Well,
wait. Why,
stop being
I've
so
seen
mean
it.
and
I've
aggressive.
seen it. I've seen a video.
why is that weird for a man to walk up to another man and say, "Man, bro, what's wrong, man? You should smile or something." What's weird about that?
No,
Well, it's not. I don't want to. It's not a bad thing. I think that we're thinking it's a bad thing. It's not.
No, y'all, people demonized it. It was demonized. Like,
Yeah, I don't think it should be demonized. I've had people come to me and say smile, and I'm like, I'll smile and keep it moving. But I think that you have to. It's like this. What if you at a point where you just lost your job and you ain't got no money, and a chick like smile, and you like, I'm not in the mood for that right now. Like, chick, who the, you know what I'm saying? That could be like, who the fuck, who you like you?
But Shan, but
It just starts.
Shan, what if in that moment that person, she just lost a job and she's on the brink of unaliving herself,
Sure.
and this man walks up and say, "Hey, beautiful, you should smile more."
And
That
that could be that what I'm saying.
may be the little thing that'll
Sure.
keep her, you know what I'm saying, keep her up.
And I want you to know that that will work for her. But what we're saying is it may not work for everybody. You should continue to keep spreading smiles, right? Just don't get mad if it doesn't work for somebody else, because that may be a different personality, a different situation. People go through different things.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't,
saying stop what you're doing. You should absolutely promote smile. You should encourage people smiling, but just don't get mad if everybody doesn't respond the way that you want them to respond.
no,
Well, I
that's
know even in here on the show sometimes, like, sometimes when you're just walking, you're focused on what it is you're doing.
right? So it's not even that you're mean mugging or whatever. It's just like you got to finish this task, and you got 1,000 things going on in your head. You're like, all right, I got to get this. And so you're not smiling. So that kind of interrupts your flow of thinking sometimes too. But like even being on the show, sometimes I'm like sitting and I'm listening intently to what people are saying, and you'll see something on the side sometimes like smile, mistaken, you need to smile, or you're saying smile. Why all of y'all looking up there? Smile. Like it gets kind of like just chill, like I'm listening, like, but the other thing too, I also think it has to do with upbringing and location. So I grew up in New York as well. You're not walking around cheesing at people. That's inviting somebody in your space. You don't want nobody in your space. No, you just keep your head straight and, on swivel, make sure you getting where you got to go. And that's it. So some of it is cultural depending on where you are. Because I know when I came down here, that was the other thing. My husband had an issue with don't be smiling up in no nigga's face. I know when I'm out by myself, I have to seem pleasant depending on where I'm at for my own safety and security. But for my husband, a dude or whatever, for him, it's like, no, when you're smiling, you're making yourself open and approachable. You don't want no dudes approaching you.
That's crazy as hell.
Right.
No, I get it. I get
too,
it.
though.
I get it, but that shit is crazy as hell. In New York is absolutely rude as fuck. Like that was the rudest city I've ever been to. But the fact that that is even a thing is insane. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we have that women have been made to conditioned to not to stay away from smiling because they would be deemed approachable, in which I think that women should be. You should feel and be approachable. But if you're the mean mugging thing, I have seen that where if, you know what I'm saying, your face is just scrunched up. So even like with the ladies on the panel right now, right? Aside from Ali, she's smiling a little bit. But so if even with those faces that y'all have, that's something completely different to where I think you're deep in thought or you're going through something. Then it's like, okay, I can see something is bothering them. So let me try to do what's best as a man to give them a smile.
So to talk on the point, to talk on the point where we kind of get back to the subject at hand, and this is some men struggle with rejection. So I think most times men struggle with rejection is because they weren't taught by their father and their man in their life on how to deal with it. They was probably more than likely taught by their mother, like JR, let's go back first thing around, taught by a woman. He was taught by a woman on how to deal with rejection in her way. Well, if a man taught him how to reject, because most of the time, you're going to go up to bat 10 times. You may only get 3 hits out of that 10. We're going to get rejected way more than we're going to get yes. Way more than we're going to get yes. So a man will teach him how to handle rejection, how to move when you do get rejected. Just keep it moving. Don't get mad, upset, cuss out. Don't say, just move on. You never know. Because guess what? Later on down the line, maybe 2 hours later, she see you again. She, like y'all said, the woman was in a bad mood. She just lost a goddamn job. Or she's going through some shit with a baby daddy or something. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, maybe she's in a better mood and she's ready to receive whatever you have to say to her. And now she's ready to hand you the number. Why? Because, she's at ease. But at first, you was rejected by God. I don't feel like I'm not in your mood. No further reason other than she just not in the mood. But, men handle rejection differently. If a real man would have told the man how to handle rejection in that situation, it probably would have been different. Now, you need to protect yourself at all times. You got to do certain things. So I agree with somebody said, get a Google number, hand out if that's the case. Protect yourself. Do what you got to do. We know there's some asshole dudes out here that do some silly shit. They childish and they act like little bitch boys. They out here. So you got to make sure you be careful when you deal with those type of dudes. You can kind of tell those type of dudes why they move and where they operate from a distance. You need to just steer clear. Don't go around them. That's all.
All right, go ahead, Allie.
I just think this topic is just very interesting for me because I spent I have experiences both in real life as well as online, where for nearly a decade, I had to go to work and put on a smile. No matter what you were thinking about my job, I worked in gaming and entertainment for nearly a decade. You had to smile at all of your guests because that was $50 to $100 a head. And you have to be extra smiley to those VIPs. So it's, there were times early on in my career where I'd be walking the floor and I'm doing what I'm doing, and men would come up to me and say, smile, and then I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, that's the rule. 5'10", 5 feet away from the person, you smile and make eye contact. 10 feet away, you look at them and wave, So I feel like that's probably why I almost always have like a smile in working in marketing. But it's a delicate dance because you have to know that audience and that person, because there was an instance where we had a heavy hitter blackjack player, right? Would always stop and talk to me. I'd be on my P's and Q's, suited and booted, do my thing, talk, da-da-da. Dude followed me home, Dudes are crazy, wanted my information, all that sort of stuff. I handled it how I needed to with, what I needed to do at the casino. And I think these are the men that struggle are the men that have a weird fixation, and then they go on social media and they don't have that intelligence to understand that all of our socials are our own personal brands. That doesn't mean that you know the person, but they can become utterly fixated and not know how to intelligently handle that. And then they lose sight of how to properly interact with a lady. So I think because of media, because of communications, because of those, those things, I think more and more men are struggling with rejection. Now, that was my experience in real life, so my experience online would be to that. The video that you played, JR, a lady not wanting to give out her number, I'm extra cautious on that as well, because, in technology, if someone has your number, they have access to information once they have that. So I prefer to, like last year, I would schedule a date through the online dating app or whatever. And I don't prefer to give out my number until I meet this individual in person, feel out the vibe, gather more information. And there are men who have gotten quite angry and weird about it. Like, I need your number. And I'm like, why? I'm communicating to you through the app. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting catfished either. And again, it goes back to what I believe, which is that men have a harder time reeling back that fixation of what they're seeing in person and online. So unless they're cognizant of that and have maybe one of their boys be like, man, her Instagram is, I've heard this before. She looks like that on Instagram, but not like that in real life. Like, slow down, I think as men, if they do a better job of communicating amongst each other and amongst their peers and reminding them of that, they would do a better job of dealing with rejection as well. So.
Okay. Let me just check around. Anybody want to add anything? Val, Saint? Yeah, go ahead, Saint.
Well, I'm a firm believer in like treating people kind when you first meet them. You never know who you're talking to. You never know who you're dealing with. And I can be as nice as possible when I meet these guys, when you're rejecting them. And it still don't work sometimes. So, I start talking about bills and problems. And then then they leave me alone. They don't want my number anymore. So girls, ladies, use that tip. If they're bothering you and you don't want to give out your number, start telling them that you're behind on your bills. And then they're gonna leave you alone. They're gonna run away. But it's just a joke, okay? But yeah, you can be as kind, and sometimes, a lot of times they be like, give me your number, and they'll dial your number right then and there to make sure you gave them the right number. So I do give out my number. Of course, I probably don't call or respond. A lot of times they actually don't really call or bother me. But I'm pretty friendly. I'm pretty cool with everybody I run into. You never know who you might meet. You never know who's who they may become, anything. Like, there might be an angel that God is sending you. So I'm just always very kind and loving, and I want people to feel seen. I want people to feel heard. I really believe in treat people how you want to be treated. But as far as smiling, of course, I'm big on smiling. I live in Chicago, so they're like, you walk around with a smile on your face, they're looking at you like you're weird. They be like, you fake, something wrong with you. But I'm just always happy, like you said, we could be going through so much. Life can be life, and I'm still alive, so I'm gonna be smiling. I'm gonna find something to smile about. But yeah, I don't really get irritated when they be like, smile beautiful, but I can see why women get irritated because they do that a lot. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. And one of the things that women do too is they give you their social media because they know that they can just block you. So a lot of women will curve you. 9 times out of 10, she probably not interested if you get into social media, because if she really was, she'll give you that number right off top. But also too, just so you ladies know, they do have Google Voices. They have some other apps and things you can create a digital number that you can give out. So in an event you find yourself in a situation, you got to make a decision, then you have that number on deck. You can possibly say, hey, well, give me your phone, I'll put my number in there. Or you dial his number, you can dial it from that digital number. So just an option.
And let me just say this. I think that says, is it Ali? Is that your name? Girl, I don't have my glasses on.
It's Allie. Allie.
Yeah.
Look, so, and I think she made a good point. You have to remember, you can access a lot of our person just by having their phone number. Nowadays, your address will come up. Everything about you will come up just by having a phone number. So it is so important that you give out a Google number, unless it's somebody that you truly know or somebody you've done your investigation on and everything, because it's crazy now. It's too much access to people's information readily available nowadays.
Shan, men have to do their investigation too, because women have no problem.
For sure. Women, listen, and that's why we have this conversation about men. I wanted to say, y'all gotta be careful about these women too. You better be careful.
Because y'all can get away with it. That's the thing. Like, y'all can get I have a homeboy.
Men underestimate some women. That's the problem.
No, what I'm saying, I have a homeboy, one of my good friends. He went to the dentist's office, and it was one of the hygienists who was interested in him. They literally text him after, they was interested. They were flirting in the office, but then when he got home, he got a text message from one of them. It was like, yo, it was good. And I'm thinking, if that was flipped around, a nigga could damn near be in cuffs behind that. You know what I mean? That's so unprofessional. But because she's cute, got them things on her, it's like, I'll give you a pass. So I ain't gonna
talk to her and everything.
I ain't gonna send you to jail for 5 years. You good.
Is anybody that haven't spoken on this shit that I missed?
It was just going to be real quick about the smiling thing again. One of the things that I saw that works, where you don't have to actually say, won't you smile, is you initiate the smile. I've experienced that, where somebody's walking past and, they make eye contact and smile. It's just kind of like an automatic response that you smile to.
Like
so
that's
make him do.
That's kind of 50-50 though. Because if you know what I'm saying, one for definitely say, man, this creep is smiling at me. If we both at the restaurant, I'm looking across, I smile, you look up, don't smile, you look back again, I'm still smiling at you. Now you creepy as hell.
Well, I mean, giving out smiles that far across the room is kind of like, I see you're just walking by somebody. Like, are you staring at her and looking, and then she just smile like,
right? We're talking about being in the parking lot, going to the store, or something like that.
Right, okay, that's fair.
And we're passing each other, and I look at you, and you just nod, like,
exactly. You literally like, and it automatically makes you smile back. So
Vince
That's
be in the restaurant at a table and be looking at a chick way across, just staring at her.
fair.
What? Vince, don't do that.
Hey, but let me close it out with this though. I think one thing, especially towards the guys, we don't say this enough, or I think that we stopped saying it because it's cliche now in this YouTube world or whatever. But rejection is a part of the game. You're going to get rejected. Don't act like a peon and show out and be emotional in the moment. Take the that rejection and learn from it and find the next one. Don't be a peon. We got too many peons out here. Now I think that men aren't calling that shit out for what it is. You're a lame ass nigga if you do any of this shit. Stop doing it. Period.
I think so. Some of the you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think sometimes when we have those situations when men do get rejected and they act out in that way is because they have already pegged in the woman that they're approached that she had no reason to reject them. Right? There's a certain level as in, okay, well, I think that me and her is on the same level. There should be no reason why she doesn't like me per se. And so in a way they kind of feel like, well, who are you to reject me? Like some even have stated before that they're like, wait a minute, I'm just giving you a shot. Like, who are you to reject me? How dare you have this inflated ego that you think that you can reject me, or that you was in form or fashion like, oh no, don't bother me. Like some people have that, and it's not only just men, women do it too. You know, they were like, ew, don't talk to me. I mean, we even actually seen a situation like that last night where, you know, just approaching a woman and the way how she approached the situation, she was approaching it as in, oh, you're bothering me, you know, like whatever not. And to me, I thought that was rude. Like if you didn't want to interact, you just said, no, thank you and have a good day. But you decided to act like you didn't know how to speak English and then proceed to go into the conversation and then want to leave. So it's when people believe that they look at someone and they already, you know, pin them out as this person doesn't have a, they shouldn't be feeling that highly of themselves. So it should just be like a regular, normal interaction, and it doesn't happen that way.
So what you just described was a man who acts like a woman because he learned that shit from his goddamn mammy. That's exactly what you described right then and there. A boy who learned that shit from his mammy, who don't know how to handle rejection, because most women do not know how to handle rejection. If a man rejects you, you gay. What's wrong with you? Why don't you like it? You don't want to hear me? You want to talk to me? You don't like women? That's the first thing. They just can't handle rejection. So you got a boy who was taught by his mother, again, taught on how to deal with rejection. But his father was in his life. His father was in the picture. He would have got on. No, that's how you move, dog. Please believe me. I got rejected from your mother when I first got with her. But guess what? I was persistent. And I stayed with it. And now guess what? We married.
I agree.
I think that would be a lady with more masculine energy, though, because the man should be pursuing the lady. That's my perspective on that.
Now, what I'm talking about, what MJ just described was a boy who acted like his mother because he being rejected by a woman. Men know about rejection. We accept rejection. 90% of us accept and okay in dealing with rejection. You got them 10% that's not.
No, but to your comment of women don't know how to accept rejection, well, that lady's probably not laying in her role. She's being too masculine.
Because we don't usually do the pursuing. We don't usually do the chasing. We usually, receive. That's the feminine is receiving.
Yeah, I think
she's doing too much. She's doing too much from the beginning. If it heads to that point where she starts to throw insults.
I agree. I think it's different, right? Because go ahead.
I think that the rejection just happens at a different stage of the relationship.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Ms. Mona. I was about to say that. I was like, usually when it comes down to rejection, it happens in the front end for men and it comes in the back end for women. But we still nonetheless deal with rejection still the same.
Because I've seen some people do some damage when they got rejected.
All right, we're going to go ahead and transition. Remember, people, life is all about balance, man. All about balance. Muir University, 1999, MJ is the truth. AB says your dusty wig is a reason. I don't know. Into the Black Dragon, $2 says, I think a big chunk of that story is missing. AB again said half ass ninja who would F you with you if you were you. And the Black Dragon $2 says, bet if we talk to this man, we get different story. Into the Black Dragon $2 says, this is one of the reasons men don't approach y'all. I think everybody has contributed thus far. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. A man will not include a temporary woman in his long-term plans.
Is from women that are trying to evaluate what is this man's intentions for me. One of the easiest ways that I found, I know that for me I do, and I can always tell the difference with my homeboys or anything like that. When he speaks on his future, when he talks about where he wants to be in 6 months, a year, 10 years, are you included in those plans? Does he mention you in that? Babe, I can see us when we're here and I buy this particular property. I want you to manage this. When I run the business, you can have this role and all these different things. Because a man, we dream a lot, man. We have a lot of thoughts about our future. We think about our future every single day. And if he isn't mentioning you in those and doesn't have plans for you in that future, he is not taking you seriously. He doesn't picture you in it. You are temporary. A man that is serious about you, you will hear about yourself in his plans.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. A man will not include a temporary woman in his long-term plans. Start with the gentleman first on this. Go ahead, Hink. Like you got some experience in this, man.
Oh man, you should. Why do you want to? Why would you want to take a 20-minute heifer and make her a lifetime chick? She don't deserve that. She deserve what you give her, them 20 goddamn minutes, and let the heifer keep it moving. If you temporary, you temporary. I'm gonna categorize with you. I'm gonna put you in a box where you think you deserve. If you act like one of those women who's not about her business, who's not on point, who's not taking care of her man and showing that she needs a man, not just want a man. Yeah, you're a temporary fix. You'll fill in. You know, when my nights get lonely and cold, I'm gonna call your ass up. When I'm gonna send your ass out with that lifesaver when I'm done with you. Because you just for her time in the meantime. I'm not taking you serious because you ain't talking about shit. You just all about bullshit. You're a surface level woman. So, but when you get a real one, oh, you'll rock with her. You know why? Because she got some type of standards about herself. She got some type of respect about herself. She'll hold you to a certain standard. And if you don't meet that standard, she'll leave me alone if I'm not about my business. I'll leave it there.
All right. That was direct, Hink.
Right on.
Go ahead, Jay.
See, I think that's true in theory that a man won't include you, you know, in their long-term plans. I think in theory that's very true. But I think lately, you know, with the new generation, I think that exact thing is a hustle, you know, telling a woman that they're included in your long-term plans so that they can think, oh, he wants to have me here, so that they can drop their guard and live like y'all are gonna be together long term, when in his head he knows that this is temporary. You know what I mean? So I think nowadays it's kind of the reverse, especially from what I'm hearing. You know, the dudes, what do they call it? What is Sweeney was talking about, the love bombing. You know, I think that's a part of it. Like, yo, you know, you're gonna be around. We're gonna get married. We're gonna live here. We're gonna, you know. So I think a lot of times, a lot of these new dudes is they use that as a hustle, make you feel like you're going to be there for the long term. And then, you know, they really don't have any plans. But I think any real man is at this stage and at a certain age is dating with intention. So you're definitely looking for a person for the long term, somebody that you can build with, or somebody that can bring something to the table that can set a good foundation for the relationship.
All right. I'm going to go to you, Saints. I know you're a woman, but what is your experience with this? Have you ever dated a man that was serious about you? Did he include you in his future, or was he just trying to hustle you?
Absolutely. Wait, let me.
Hold on. You ain't got to worry about it. I think I could do it on my end. Let me see. I guess you should be good. Yeah,
Can you
mute.
guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I was saying it would be refreshing to meet a guy who actually has long-term plans, because usually I'm the one who inspires him or kind of help him figure out what he's gonna do, like years down the line. So that would be refreshing to meet a guy who has long-term plans. But yeah, he should have it all figured out. I definitely met a guy who has plans, and I'm in all his plans. And at the same time, I think a woman should have her own plan as well, just in case anything can go left, anything can happen. But that's what that was my thoughts. It'll be refreshing to meet a guy who actually has long-term plans, because usually they don't really know what they're gonna do in the next couple of years. Some do know, and they don't know you well enough to share that with you yet. Um, but yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
All right. Go ahead, Allie.
I mean, for me personally, I've always been included in the long-term plan. I've always been in a long-term relationship. So I do lightweight like gender roles. So I like to be, as you call it, second in command and have the man lead and have me follow. However, being that said, when you are second in command, your man is supposed to talk to you about those plans. And if those things start to misalign, then, that's when you make your exit. So as far as dealing with men who it's pretty easy to identify if a man doesn't want you in his long-term plans, exactly like the video showed. If he doesn't speak like that, then you're not in it. And then that's when you have to make that decision to like, if I salute those women and those men who call it what it is. If they're just in it just to get some ass, then that's what it is, right? I think it's just this fine line of making sure both parties don't remain delusional, right? Like if the man is love bombing and the woman can sense it, just call it out. And if she's fine with the arrangement, then fine, leave it as it is. It's just people need to be more honest about their situations, and then we would have less problems, quite frankly. So,
Gotcha. All right, go ahead, MJ.
Yeah, like a couple of people have said, it's like there's love bombing. We had the Tinder swindler. These are women in cases that said that the person made up a whole lifestyle for them, had a whole 5-year plan of what they were doing, and these women initially invested in that 5-year plan, and that's why they have lost money and things in time, and their feelings been hurt and stuff like that. So I would say yes, the guy in the video is correct. If they are seeing yourself in the things that they want to do in the future, like, and they're talking like, hey, this is where we're going to go. We're going to Paris next year. We're going to this. We're going to do that. Yes, you could take that, but you have to actually see actions with that now. Because now with the love bombing situation, someone could tell you up from the front, they could tell you within 2 months they want to marry you, and this is all this stuff like that. And you'll be like, okay, well, he's talking about me. He's talking about we're doing this together. He's saying that he could see this. He could, see this. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to follow through. That doesn't mean that he's going to put any effort. We all know that there's steps that needs to happen to get to the end goal. So that is what women and men have to also start looking at too, right? Are these steps happening? If this woman says she wants to be your wife, is she taking the steps to be your wife? Like, so we both have to do it. Like now we just cannot just what is the saying? People's word is not their bond anymore. So we need more.
Go ahead, Viv.
I kind of think I don't know if I can agree with dude. My first relationship, my first love when I was 17, 18, yeah, I had my girlfriend involved in every single thing that I wanted to do. Now as an adult, like, you're there, but you're not in the actual, you know what I'm saying, like bullet points. In between, we'll get married, we'll go on vacation, we'll do this, do that. But for me to say, oh, I'm gonna invest into property and I'm gonna have you manage this property and have you do this and what if she don't want to do that? What if she ain't even good at it? You know what I'm saying? So to tell women, because I'm assuming that's who he's talking to tell women that, in my opinion, is a hell of a reach, and he pandering like a motherfucker. Because I think most men aren't going to include a woman in every single thing that they have planned in life. And I would assume that most women wouldn't want that. They will want to be involved, but not for every single thing to be in that bullet point. So I don't agree with what he said whatsoever. Maybe because he looks young, and since he's still young and haven't experienced life or whatever the case may be, he thinks that way. But yeah, I mean, look at him. You know, it, I that logic doesn't make sense to an adult male that have had experience behind his belt. So to tell women that, I think is misleading. But I do agree, if at no point there's a date set to, okay, we're going to take this to this next level or whatever the case may be, then okay, sure, maybe. But if he's giving you a rundown, you say, hey, what are your plans in the next 5-10 years? And he only includes you one time in that, or he doesn't include you at all, that doesn't mean that he sees you to be a short-term person. That just means he's focused on his goal and what you should want. So I think, me personally, I think dude is pandering to his audience. But
So I feel like what I'm hearing, Viz, is the younger men who are dating, who kind of sound like they have entrepreneurial ADHD, is saying, oh, we're going to include the lady in this, that, and everything. But a grown man who's got experience after the fact with his lady is going to play to her strengths and may not necessarily include her in everything. To summarize what you were saying, right?
Essentially.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree with that then. Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, I know, and I guess kind of piggybacking off of the love bombing thing. So I know a guy that he was dating this one chick, and he had her as his screensaver on his phone. Now, mind you, it wasn't just like a regular picture; it was a
What?
provocative picture, of her like in a bra and panties or like a swimsuit type of deal. And as soon as seen it, I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, bro, I'm bullshit. This is just a flex, you know what I'm saying, to make her think that he's serious and committed and not fucking around with nobody else. Like, boy, that's the oldest trick in the book, that you pull, you know what I'm saying, with a broad that you're not serious about, that you still playing around with. So I think dude, the young man that gave this message, I think that he's feeding into women that look for that as validation, much rather than actually seeing and experiencing the actions that this man is saying that he's going to do.
Well, there's research behind that as well, though. Like Pew Research put out a study that said the people that are more loud on social medias and digital anyway are actually the most insecure and unstable. So that's just massive low emotional intelligence for men and women who look for that and men who put that out.
So you said that he had her dressed in some lingerie as a screensaver?
Bro, he had her. I can't remember exactly, because when I saw it, I knew it was her, and it was like, I looked and then looked away because all I seen was titties in the picture. So I'm like, damn, like, bro, real life got his girl. Like, this is supposed to be his girl. You got your girl on your screensaver on your phone. You know what I'm saying? For anybody to see. Me personally, I've never been into being with a woman that that isn't modest in public. So if the last thing that I would do is put a provocative picture on my phone for anybody to see at any random moment. You know what I'm saying? That's for me in my eyes. But to put it on your screensaver, that's some what's our boy name? Derek Jackson type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them type of vibes. I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody
I
else?
don't agree. Yeah, wow, that's my bad. Go ahead. I know
No, go ahead.
everybody talk. No, if everybody talk, I was gonna say I don't agree with Viz. I mean, if I'm dealing with a real woman who I consider a real woman, and my fiance now, I shared everything. But I'm not gonna tell a hoe shit. A hoe don't deserve no truth. I'm gonna lie to a hoe, because that's what a hoe deserves. Now, my woman, my lady, the woman who I'm gonna bless with my last name, she gonna know everything. Why wouldn't I tell her that? Why wouldn't I share that with her? Why wouldn't I share my goals, my aspirations? Look, that lets me know she's real. First of all, because she got some type of standards. She should know how I want to move, how I want to act. If I'm not the type of man that she won't be with, then she shouldn't be with me. And if she don't want to know a man's a plan, objective, what's going on, what are we doing, what's the plan for the next 5 years? Yeah, that ain't the type of woman I want. And I'm teaching my son the same thing. Why would you want a woman not want to be inquisitive and know about what's your plan for me as a woman? You sound like a fool if you don't want to inquire about that. But if you just want to fly by your seat and live life like you want to live, you know what? Say YOLO. Do they still talk? Do they still say that shit? I don't know. I'm old. I don't know. But if that's how they want to, then she ain't shit. I'm just fucking on her. It's obvious what she's about. She just enjoying living life. Cool. I'm gonna oblige you by knocking you down, but I'm not gonna take you serious. I just need you when I'm desperate. When I'm dry dicking it, ain't no and I can't get pulled nothing in the club because I got rejected. So guess what? I'm gonna
Hey, Hick, I got a question though.
I ain't doing that shit in 2024. I'm just talking about what I used to do.
Right, but Hick though, are you going to even tell a short-term woman your goals? You know what I'm saying? That's you're not even going to tell her. So
you didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said, Viz.
No,
a short-term goal. No. A short-term a woman gonna get a lie. The long-term woman gonna get everything and all things.
That's not keeping it player though, Hank.
Oh yeah, yes it is. Why am I investing my time and energy and tell you everything I'm gonna do if you ain't gonna be around for 3 months?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Why even tell her the goals if you know that she's not gonna be around? Like
I'm not telling her nothing. She gets lies. She gets nothing from me but some dick. That's it. Now I told you when I took the turn, the long-term woman gets everything from me. She gonna know all the information she needs to know. The long term. The wife. Not the high school sweetheart girlfriend that I know we wasn't gonna make it. Because once I got to college, it's a new crop of efforts. And I'm gonna deal with it.
Oh. Anybody got anything else?
I would like to hear Jay perspective.
So are you singling everybody else out? I mean,
no, I spoke on
all of the men. Like I didn't hear Jay's perspective. So I heard Hank.
Yeah, I think Jay went first.
I went first. Yeah, I went first. I just said, you're not gonna use your you're not gonna waste your time sharing that with somebody that's not gonna be around. But I also said that a lot of men will use those long-term plans as a way to make a woman drop her guard, to make her feel like she's going to be around for longer than she really is. That's all. It's a tactic.
I could see some truth in that. Also sometimes because some people show with their representatives, I think you may disclose or you can picture a future with somebody, but then as you guys continue to date, you should decide to pull back a little bit, or you like, well, I didn't see this a couple months ago, or I haven't seen this person react this way, or I never know they thought like this because you
That
guys
is
were never put in that situation. So even though you include them, or it sounds good, because people first meet, everything sound good, look good, and then once you start to get some of that time, because time reveals everything, then you have to reevaluate that future, that possibility of even having a future. And then you got to start measuring if you're going to be able, if this is something that you can deal with for the rest of your life, because this is new developing information that has been brought to the table. So everything is always situational. It's never absolute. But when it does happen, when it does get exposed, it's just like, then that's when you need to be more upfront about it, or either ask the right questions to see if this is something that you can align yourself with. Once you go ahead and get that bond, then it might be too late. But the quicker you can learn and experience those conflicts and tough conversations, you got to understand a person, then sometimes people have no problem adjusting to whatever it may be if you guys are applying logic. But when somebody is stuck on their feelings and they're going to be who they are regardless and not want to factor in how you feel about it, then that's going to probably be a difficult person. And one of the things you want to look at too is seeing if people are consistent throughout other aspects of their life. Because usually somebody that's not consistent with everything else, they're not going to be consistent in their relationship either. If they flip flopping about what it is that they want to do, their future, they sound like they're all over the place with their jobs. They seem down all the time. Everything's always a problem. They always complaining all the damn time. You'll be on the phone with somebody and they just be like, oh my God. I'd be like, I just cringe because it just keep coming. Keep coming. It's like, damn, are you happy? Can you deal with anything? Like you haven't figured out that life is up and down? Like you act like you caught by surprise every time something happened. It's something real simple. Like a damn Cheerio can fall off the damn counter. Oh my God. I just cleaned up.
I have a question real quick that I think from Hank, but I guess as men getting your feedback from it. So Hank said, and Jay as well, both said that men will definitely lie, right? So he may pretend that he's including her in long-term plans, but she's a temporary chick. So for a woman that may be listening or in a situation and don't know, when you say temporary, how long is temporary? Because there are men that kind of drag that out for a little, like Hank said, 3 months or something like that. But then you have somebody that will stay in a relationship for 2-3 years and they're talking about plans. So what advice can you give a woman to kind of detect, like, am I temporary or not? Because you're lying. So she's kind of going by that. And if you're pretending, then I would think that some of your actions are going to kind of be in sync with what you're saying, just so you can make sure that you keep her on a string.
I mean, first you would definitely look at his actions. I mean, because his mouth could say 1,000 things, but you focus on the actions. Nobody is going to put any sweat equity into something that they don't plan on being around. And you figure out if his actions are aligned with things that you've mentioned that you want or that you like or that you're looking into, because people are not looking to waste their time and put energy into things that that they feel are a waste of time. I would say, and hold them accountable. Hold them accountable in terms of if they said something that they were going to do or they plan to have you around, hold them accountable with things that tie you into being around, meaning like a joint account or they wanted to invest in a property together or something like that. If this is what they're bringing to you, if this is, pinpoint the things that indicate that they plan to have you around and hold them to that. And if you notice that it's like a bunch of excuses or it's a bunch of, lip service and they're not showing the actions behind it, then, they probably bullshitting you. They're probably bullshitting you.
Yep. Did I answer your question, mistaken? Okay. Everything's always situational, though, so always keep that in mind. I think if you apply logic, I mean, anything over a year, if y'all not moving in a certain direction, I think it's probably safe to say that it probably may not go nowhere. If you have to look for clarification or there's still some confusion, after 6 months to a year, then I think you can answer the question yourself. But I do think the older you get, people feel that pressure. They feel that pressure to want to build life with someone. So I think older folks that's dating older folks, when they are dating, they typically understand what time it is. Sometimes men need a little bit of time, because they unsure. They don't want to let that person go because it's still a possibility, but they're just waiting, just waiting to see if they can see a little sign that might just be a little bit more clear for them. So
Like,
yeah, go ahead, Jay.
no, like you were saying, like when you date a person, more things, like you said, start off with the representative, oh, I make 90K a year, I'm doing this, then, more is revealed and you like, damn, this is $375,000 in debt, of school loans, credit cards, etc. Like, I like you, but there's no way in hell that I'm tying myself to that. So I could have thought you were long term, but now these debts and shit is revealed and foreclosures and shit. I'm not attaching myself to that, especially if I've done everything right. On my end, that would be that would be absurd. Nobody in their right mind would work hard for their credit score or their accounts and then attach them to somebody who did the total opposite. But that's not revealed up front. Nobody's coming to you like, hey, I got 375 in debt. Nobody's coming to you like, yo, I got 7 foreclosures.
And then also something to keep in mind too is that everybody you meet doesn't necessarily have to end up in a relationship. Usually everybody comes together because there's a form of an attraction of some sort. That's how everybody know each other. So when I hear people say, oh, that person doesn't, oh, they're just a friend, there was an attraction there of some sort, whether it been personality, looks, the style of conversations they have, whether they're in the same field and they're very successful. Like there's an attraction there. That's how you guys came together. But it doesn't mean that it have to be romance. It have to be romantic. It have to end in marriage. So sometimes you need a little bit of time to see a little bit more data that you got to collect, a little bit more personality traits. You just got to try to figure it out. And because we are all different, who's to say that whatever time you figure it out is the same as mine? You might got a little bit more urgency because all of your peers around you, they're getting married and you feel like you are behind in life and behind when it comes to doing life. But that may not be for that guy. That guy may be just got into his bag and his purpose. And so now he's looking to date and he's looking to try to find the right one. Some people don't want to repeat the same mistakes though. So, but that's conversations you got to have, and these things will be revealed if you ask the right questions, if you guys go deep, have deeper conversations with these people. So you got to give a little bit of grace when it comes to dating because dating is tough. And if you are back on the dating scene, it is tough for some folks. You got to understand that the world is constantly changing and mindsets are changing right along with it. A lot of people don't have the same mindset as some of the people did in the past. So you got to understand how they've been conditioned, whether it be upbringing, trauma, experiences. If anybody is single now, 9 times out of 10, if they don't had like 4 or 5 relationships in the past 5 years, they got some form of trauma. They're not married, they're not still with that person. So they're going through some things because it was an unsuccessful relationship. And they may say that it wasn't their fault, but you got to, unless you're able to hear both sides, you got to take that with a grain of salt. It's a possibility that it wasn't them, but you just got to just do more listening than talking. And then you got to start looking at how they move. And then you can kind of come to some type of conclusion about it. But just keep that in the back of your mind as you out here dating because it ain't nothing easy. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, man. The last topic. Juicy Work Show. $4.99. The super sticker. Thank you, sir. Everybody okay? Let me do a well-being check. Is Val okay, Saint?
Yes, she's getting ready. We're about to head out. I just want to say that the topic of it is, do we need men? And yes, we need men, because who's gonna kill the spiders? And who's gonna who's gonna drive us around? And who's gonna take out the trash? I'm just kidding. We love you guys for much more than those reasons. Okay. But we're about to head out to the beach and have fun. You guys treat people how you want to be treated. And that's all I want to leave you guys with. Check out my book, just released. Follow me on Instagram at St. Larice. Oh, what?
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take
if
care.
I can bring this up properly.
Okay.
Right on. Where is it, Hank?
Right on.
All right, here we go, y'all. The main topic is do we need men? Let me go ahead and play this clip. Y'all ready? I don't want to play it over and play it one time. Gotta make sure Shan paying attention. All right, make sure you squint to the right.
And you ate breakfast? You ate already? Yeah, that breakfast kicking in them eyes, yo.
No, I'm doing my lesson plan while I'm on here with y'all. Y'all keep. Sorry.
All right, here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And most answered very quickly, no. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women? Most of them said yes. Why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I have Handy Manny at home.
He's really talking about a servant, let's face it. No, the things that you're describing, you could pay somebody to do that.
I hate this, if I may be so direct. I think we live in a world where most people got married because they were supposed to and not because they chose powerfully. I think most people are married and have children because society said get married and start a family. But never did society say, find that person that you want to build something significant with or insignificant with, someone that makes you tick, someone that brings you passion, someone that pushes you towards your goals, someone that you're aligned with, someone that has similar core values, and then build a family. Because if we're only after marriage and a family, marriage and a family, marriage and a family, it doesn't matter who you plug. In which case, no, you don't need a man. You don't need a woman. You're just there to say I'm married and I have this family, right? But if you're after purpose, peace, and fulfillment, then who that person is matters. And I think what this video shows me is if any of these women are married, and I don't have a clue, it's you didn't powerfully choose your husband. Some of them will probably never be married like the first woman, because if she's probably not already divorced 1 or 2 times already, because you're walking and moving with the way of, we don't need men. What's the point? They're useless. Men are not useless, especially a man that is the yin to your yang, that helps you to find the best version of yourself, because ultimately marriage is like a huge mirror to all the ugliest parts of you. And the part of ourselves that we get to fix and correct and grow and evolve or keep exactly the same. And that's really what this life is about. Life is about growth and evolution with someone, and connectivity and love and purpose and peace and passion. Those things are all so beautiful and a blessing. But if you are just going for the normal societal, oh, let's just get married and start a family, it's no wonder why, 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce.
It's a pride issue, man. People who genuinely believe that men are useless are filled with pride. It's because you think you can do it all. Like, who do you think you are?
I just so strongly feel like to be married to a partner that you powerfully choose is to teach you the deepest depths of trust. And to be a mother or a father is to teach you the deepest levels of selflessness. You can't really get those lessons without those things. And I feel like for anyone to say that any gender or any person is useless is just, I got questions for that person, essentially, is what I'm saying. But ultimately,
she is married.
Wow.
I feel so sorry for her husband.
Yeah, it's not giving.
I couldn't imagine being her husband watching.
Well, maybe she was joking. You know,
Nah.
maybe she's I don't know. I don't know the dynamics. I feel like she's probably been married 1 or 2 times. We're talking about the first lady, right? The older white woman.
This is her second marriage.
I knew it, obviously. That was apparent. But I just so strongly feel like ultimately we have a beautiful opportunity to choose better. That's it. That's it.
Do we need men? Do we need men? Ali, do we need men?
Absolutely. 100%, 1000%. I functioned like like I said earlier, I think that I mentally and physically would prefer the man to lead and drive. Like I can drive, but I don't want to drive, you know? But I think it is sad, the initial clip of the women on The View saying what they said, that men are useless, because that's not true. Yeah, I think it's incredibly sad that's what whoever they surveyed is interesting as well, because they said the good majority of the people they surveyed initially immediately said men are useless. I think I'm wondering what pool of people that they're surveying to respond in that way. But no, men are not useless. We need them. I can't provide myself with a sense of security, like mentally, emotionally. Like a man does that for me. So, and I'm happiest with a man. So, yeah.
All right. Go ahead, MJ.
Oh no, I don't think men are useless. I think that they are needed, just like women are needed, and we have our place in this world. I would never say that they are useless. I do see that when those women were speaking in the video, it seemed like it did come off like they didn't appreciate their partners and their spouses, you know, and I don't know. I'm tending to see that more today, because we even also have married men talk about their women or their wives as if they're nothing, or walking incubators and things of that sort too. So I think that we just need, as people, we just need to stop talking about people as they're useless and that they don't bring value, or they don't have value outside of your wants and your needs of said partner. People just have value in general, and men are valuable in general.
So why do you think the women, because we see it online, right, that we come to the conclusion that some women feel as though that they don't need men? Why is that?
I think most of the time, the women who are saying that they don't need a man is because they've been placed in a position where they don't have a man, so they had to do it themselves. And also, there's been situations where there are with a man who has brought more problems and more issues to their life, as in, you know, helping benefit them, right? So for them, it translates, well, he's not needed if he's only going to bring me stress. He's not needed if he's only going to make me go crazy. He's not needed if he's not even going to do the quote unquote roles that men say they do, provide and protect. If I have to do all these things myself, then I don't need it to add on another person to that situation, right? That's where it's coming off at. But even within those women who are saying that, when you ask them, hey, do you want a relationship? Do you want a man? Yes. They're not phrasing it correctly. They don't want a man that, a man who does not want to, you know, be what they need for them. That man is not needed for them. You know, the wrong man. They don't need the wrong type of man. But if you was to put them in a situation, if they came across the man that is the right type of man for them, they would never say nothing like that. They would never say nothing like that. And it's the same thing with men too. Like, they don't need bad women. They don't need this woman that's toxic. They don't need these type of women. But a man who generally respects and loves his women, they'll tell you off the bat, yes, I need that woman. I don't know what you're talking about. So I think it's on the same side.
All right. What's going on, Angela?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? We're talking about, do we need men? I'm not sure if you did you see the clip already?
The first clip, I saw the girl kind of came on and disagreed with it.
she started, but I didn't finish it because my opinion, I heard Ali and MJ speak, and Ali, you said something that resonated when you said, you feel like your partner and the man that balances you out, you feel like you need that, or it's needed for a level of security. And I think that's very true, and I think that that's not always easy for people to admit. I do think that men and women, that we need each other naturally, but for balance. And then MJ, I think that you also spoke on a very important point, that a lot of that perspective or emotion behind not needing a man comes from a place of pain. It comes from a place of lack and survival, quite honestly, because it's like, okay, if this has consistently happened to me, then, well, I have to look at it in this way in order for it to make sense for me now. So I definitely agree. I'm an advocate for healthy male and men and women relationships, especially within the Black community, because if we can learn to get along, if we can see the value in partnership and coming together, then we can start to build more significant things that will overflow into the community, and we'll have a better culture. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. Go ahead, Hank.
Man, look, and these are the type of women that's going to be teaching our sons. Their own goddamn mother don't even like what they're going to become, a man here soon, because they don't even feel like you have any goddamn value. Once you become a man, you have no value in these women's eyes. That's what they just displayed on a public forum, on a nationally televised TV show. No value at all. So once you turn, I don't know, 18, 21, whatever age you choose, you have no more value. You're not needed no more. I couldn't imagine going to my son, you get to that age, brother, you're no longer needed by these women. You no longer value by these women. You just a waste of time and a waste of sperm and human being. That's what you are. Once you become this is the logic that's being taught, implemented, and this is what we want to teach our sons. These are the type of people we want teaching our sons. These type of women that's supposed to be teaching our kids, our boys. Yeah, bullshit. A man has more value than just his pocket, and that's what a lot of women have a problem with. They value a man just by how much money, how much he can provide financially. What about the protection I'm doing for you mentally? What about the physical protection I provide for you? Because some of these ladies, man, they ain't all there. And they can move off their emotions. And as a man, you have to draw them back in. You have to reel them back in. You might have to say certain things to them to bring them back down to a certain level. Those are little things that are important to a man. You look, your girlfriend ain't going to do it for you. You know why? Because she's going to be right there with you. Girl, I understand. Yeah, that motherfucker ain't shit. Instead of somebody talking her down, say, girl, you know you're going too far with this. Why are you acting like this? Why are you responding like this? Why are you carrying on like this? But if you get that right man, is going to bring you in a peaceful place. Now, like you said, I think MJ said, maybe they had a lot of bad experience. Well, that's your fault. That's your fault that you have all these bad experiences like that. Why are you continue to have all these bad experiences? Have you not learned nothing from your previous experience? Did you not learn to see the red flags in that man when you was dealing with him? Why are you continue to go down this road and deal with these bad experience type men? Now, that's not on you. That's not on that man. That's on you, because you the one picked to choose to pursue this relationship with the man. I can ask you, but you can always tell me no, and I got to get rejected, and I got to deal with it. But if you as a woman tell me yes, and you know he shows bad traits, even during the time when you dated him, he shows some questionable behavior. His previous relationship, you've seen it, yet you look past it. That's on you, man. What the fuck was you thinking about? But those are the type of women you got to deal with. Come on, I don't need a man. That's fine. There is a woman out there who realizes a man is greatly needed. There is a woman out here who's a man is greatly appreciated. And guess what? She's going to get blessed with a real man. While the ones sit down don't need a man, you're going to keep on getting those ones that dog you out. And they're going to keep on pouring that experience in you. And they're going to drop them experience loads in your ass. And then you're going to continue to be mad and bitter and hateful and angry because you got all this bad experience. But everybody ain't going to be able to relate to you. Why? Because that woman got that real one. She found a man that she really needs and he provides everything she's looking for. I'll leave it there.
I wanted to go ahead.
No, I was going to say, go ahead. Just kind of make sure you see if you can bring it a little bit closer. Or you can talk loud. Yeah. Okay. Try it now. Keep talking. Let's see.
Okay, Hank, I wanted to touch on something. I understand that you're very passionate about, your perspective about that. But you said something that I kind of wanted to challenge, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's your fault that all these things keep happening to you. I do agree with them to a certain extent. We have to be for the decisions that we make and how we evaluate certain situations, relationships, right? But at the same time, I think that shit happens to people, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the tools in order to bounce back. They don't have the tenacity. They weren't taught the skills necessary in order to get past things. So that's just what I wanted to touch on first. But also, like, in terms of meeting men, I think that a lot of men are not operating at a level of, they don't understand what real masculinity is for a variety of reasons, right? So they're not operating in that. And I feel like that sometimes translates to women as like, you're not useful, if that makes sense. I think that we live in a culture that a lot of people value things more than they value people, or don't have the comprehension or language to understand valuing a person outside of these surface things, whether it be a job, a car, a crib, and money and things, a bank account and things like that. So taking that into consideration, like all the things that we talked about factor into that perspective. So I just wanted to add that.
Oh, I thought you had a question for me, man.
So what is masculinity to you, Angela?
Hold on, Viz, hold on. Angela, I thought you had a question for me.
It wasn't a question. I was just like kind of piggybacking off something you said about people. Like, you basically said it's people's fault that they've gone through everything that they've gone through. Right. Yes. And I was just saying that sometimes people set themselves up for things and sometimes things just happen. And unfortunately, everyone's not equipped with the intelligence or the tools in order to correct themselves, and not to say that it's anybody else's fault, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to say that. And then what did you ask me?
Well, yeah, Angela. I think Hank had something else, but that last thing you just said, that was the last thing you just said was that's not taking accountability. The human species since day one has always it has always been the survival of the fittest. So if you don't go out and seek the knowledge to get out of whatever rut it is or whatever situation, then you're going to fall to the wayside, just like all the other people that decided to make that same decision as well. So I hear what you're saying, but that's realistically, in my opinion, I think that's just an excuse and a cop-out to not take accountability for the decisions made.
No, I'm not saying don't take accountability, but what I'm saying is, because I do agree with you, it is our responsibility to go out and seek out the knowledge or whatever is necessary in order to excel and develop ourselves. But all I'm just saying is have a little grace, because we've all been through things, we've all fallen short. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you though.
So my other question was, okay, my bad, Hank. I know if you had something to say, because you ain't saying nothing.
She said she wanted to ask me a question, but I just heard a statement, so I didn't hear a question.
I didn't have a question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the question I have, Angela, you said that most men aren't masculine or something. What is masculinity to you?
A lot of men don't understand masculinity. Or at least from my experience, I'm from Chicago, so a lot of my experience is dealing with people within my demographic for the most part. But I think at the core of masculinity, and this is something that I got from my male mentor, is protecting femininity. Like all the things that pretty much fall under that umbrella plus more. But I think that that's where it starts. So I think that when you have like this predator mindset, or you're only out for self, and it's just like, oh, well, that don't got nothing to do with me, or anything like that, that it aligns with that, it takes away from the essence of being masculine, the ideology of what masculinity lands on. So that's what I mean.
Okay.
Well, I think the reason why men don't have masculinity is because they was taught by their mother. They was taught by their woman. That's the reason why there was a lack of masculinity, because a man wasn't involved in the situation of being taught, teach him how to be a man. That's the reason why you might be seeing a lack of masculinity. If a woman teaches him, teaching this boy all the time, then he's gonna move and act like a woman. He's gonna carry on like a woman. So that's probably what you're experiencing. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I think that another huge deciding factor of this all too is the fact, just like he pointed out, the fact that they're pushing this agenda on The View. This is a nationally known platform that they're speaking this on top of some of the women on there being married themselves. So now you have potentially women that aren't hurt and bitter. They're just saying this rhetoric for a check, to women that are hurt and been bitter, and potentially having good men that's in their lives that are masculine and taking care of home and doing what they can with the kids and so on and so forth. So now these women are listening to that and now sabotaging the relationships that they're in. So I think that if we continue, and this is on both men and women, if we continue to speak up against these people, and in my opinion, I think that we need to go back to calling people stupid. I think we need to go back to telling people to shut the fuck up.
What?
And stop putting out this misinformation that's causing more and more confusion, especially amongst us in our community, because it's not helping any. And the more that nobody says anything, the worse it gets. And that's a big reason why we're in the position that we're in now, because everybody is just going along with the train, and the people that's not with it, they're just standing back. So now that loud minority is becoming the majority because they're being influenced with it and sabotaging everything else that's going on.
All right. Go ahead, Miss Taken.
I would definitely say I need a man. Specifically, I need my husband. I just wrote down some of the things I need him for. As y'all were talking, I was just kind of just reflecting and thinking on the ways that I need him. So I definitely need him for support. There are things that have going on in our lives together that having him as a great support system was needed when it was things related to my family, or even things that were related to the kids. So I definitely need him for support. I need him, not needed, need him to add to me in ways that will help me grow into a better person. And the reason is because he's honest and truthful to me about me. So I do need that from him. I need him physically. I need him physically in more ways than one. I need his perspective on things. So as I go through things at work or home, I can appreciate a different perspective that he's able to give me versus I know I see a lot of things through the lens of me being a woman and my experiences. So he's able to kind of give me a different perspective on things. I definitely need his strength and his wisdom. I love the fact that he's a knowledgeable person in regards to like culture and science and just things like that. And so I really feel like I can go to him with things and always feel like he would be able to feed into me and give me answers. Or even if he doesn't, he's able to say, nah, I don't know that. But then it sparks something that would make me want to go find out. So yeah, those are some of the things that I came up with in terms of how it is that I'm able to relate to him in need. But it took time to get there because I think I initially came in with the mindset that the women were talking about, just again, based on my experiences growing up and seeing the interaction between my parents. So not all the time parents staying together will always give you a positive image of what marriage might be. It can make you afraid of it a little bit if it wasn't a healthy marriage. But the fact that his strength and his wisdom, I think, assisted in helping me become a better person.
Okay. I like that.
I thought that was nice.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Mistaken.
Yeah. I think it's important for women to understand, well, women and men understand how much we need each other for different reasons. And it may vary depending on the relationship and your upbringing. But one of the things that I've seen is that women have gone so long without being able to build with somebody that it's very difficult for them to know how to build with some person because for whatever reason they had some trauma behind it and or they had no choice. So for an example, I know someone who discovered that their father was broke and that their mother has been holding it down all these years. And even as adults, he's still struggling. And so what she did was she got into her bag in her career so that she can help out her mother, well, her parents, particularly her mother. And then now it's very difficult for her to date because she doesn't know how to turn that career, that hustle off. And so I wouldn't say that she doesn't need a man, but she doesn't stay in relationships long enough for her to be able to lead them into marriage or either something serious. Maybe she don't believe in marriage, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she wanted to get married, but I found herself hopping from relationship to relationship to relationship. And based off experience, I know that it's very difficult for her to build with somebody because she just can't turn it off. So I think the earlier that we had these conversations and they have an understanding of how important it is to have a man, how important it is to have a woman. Because I don't know too many men that don't want women either. I mean, if I hear somebody say that they don't want a woman, then I'm probably gonna say they're gay. I don't I don't see no problem with women. Like I love women. I love that women are around. I'm glad they were born. I'm glad that they do exist because imagine this world with a bunch of hard legs. I like having women around me. I don't for anybody that just disgusted or turned off by women, shame on you. I don't know who raised you, but we weren't raised by the same people, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that. So I
Hey,
have I have no problem with women. I don't have any problem with women being so out of control where it disturbs me. I've learned a long time ago to let people do what they're gonna do. You don't have to involve yourself in every woman's life. Same way how a woman don't have to involve herself in every man's life. You can't change folks. Folks just gotta either want to change or they either see something in you where they're willing to adapt to whatever it is that whatever personality trait that you have or whatever's going on in your world. And for the people that can't understand that or you don't want to rock with them, then you go your way, I go my way. People overcomplicate life. Life is not really that damn hard. I don't know why we're trying to fix everybody.
Come on,
Especially
man.
people that want to be fixed and maybe don't need to be fixed. Maybe y'all just got to align in a certain way. And when it's magic, it's magic. Everything ain't going to be magic. Life is never going to be easy. It's going to be some difficult time. Life is going to always be up and down. And the sooner you're able to figure that out, the easier your life would be. And that's why I spoke about them people complaining all the time. They're complaining is because they've been going through some form of hardship in their life, and they just haven't been able to figure it out. And some folks just not going to figure it out. So you can waste your time and energy trying to figure it out for them, because it takes a lot of energy to go back and forth with somebody. It takes a lot of energy. I've seen people out of breath because for one, they got to shake. So for them to exert all that energy with that exchange, it's like, and then you're trying to call somebody else to explain the situation. You ever call somebody and then you don't even want to explain the story out? What happened? You should have been on the mass call when I told everybody else, because I ain't about to keep explaining shit. I've been told 4 people already, and you calling me up and asking what happened. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you another time, because they out of breath, they out of shape, man. It takes too much energy to be going back and forth, man. So if folks don't want to change, let them be. Let them be.
I have a question for all the people that may be happily in a long-term relationship or be married. If we have any, well, I know Miss Taken, I know that you said that you were married. So well, before you got married, do you feel like you knew what you were looking for? Like you knew the qualities in the husband that you could see yourself with in the future? Or did you really, or was it kind of like, a mutual feeling, and then you guys kind of grew to compromise? I know it involves compromise regardless, but I'm just kind of like asking, like, because I think someone said earlier when I was watching, people just get into marriage because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do versus actually understanding what a successful marriage, a happy marriage looks like. They do it out of obligation or honor instead of, aligning your mindset, values, and those other things. So just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that, or anyone else who may be in a marriage, a successful marriage or relationship.
All right. To be completely honest, it was the first part of what you said, not really knowing what it was going to entail. I guess it's kind of like you see your mom being a mom, right? So you have an idea of what a mother is or what a mother does, but you don't truly know what that is until you actually become a mother. So I would say that's kind of how I met my husband at 18, right, in college. So I didn't even really have an idea of who I was. So I kind of grew up with him a little bit. But I think because I grew up in a household that I know that was an expectation, that was the standard. So I knew I was going to get married. But I don't think that, and I knew what I didn't want in a marriage. But I think both of us learned a lot within the marriage. I think what has helped though is that from the beginning, we both were on the same page in terms of being together forever and be willing to do whatever it takes to ensure that happens. So I think that was the foundation of both of us having the same goal. We wanted family. We were on the same page about what values, what core values, what things we wanted in our family, things like that. But I would say we developed the skill set along the way. The younger we were, the harder it was. Um, the harder it was, but I think we started getting our stride later on as we begin to, like you said, compromise. Communication, got better. Like, I think earlier on we used to talk, and I think there's a difference between talking and communicating. And so as we got further along, we learned to communicate better. It was intentional and purposeful to have a happy marriage. So we did therapy, all the things to ensure that, we're not just married, which is what I saw growing up. Because I came from a religious household, and it was like, you can't get a divorce, so it wasn't a happy marriage, but I knew I wanted that.
Appreciate that. Let me just play this one last clip, y'all. It's still adding to the conversation we already have.
Question that you can ask your partner to check in with them.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything heavy on your heart in this moment? Right. Is there anything that I could do to be a better partner, to be a better girlfriend, to be a better boyfriend, to be a better husband, or be a better fiance? Like, is there anything that I can do for you? Right. What's something that you're excited about doing that doesn't have to do anything with this relationship? Is there anything that you're excited about that has to do with our relationship? Is there anything that you had on your heart as far as any resentment or any unforgiveness that's attached to our relationship that we didn't talk about?
Yes.
Right? Have I made you feel any type of way as of late? It reminds me of a conversation that I had with my lady this past weekend. And it was an uncomfortable conversation, but we navigated through it. It was cool. So at the end of the conversation, she asked me, "So what are you feeling right now?" And I said, "I feel attacked. I feel attacked, and I feel defensive." And she was like, "But do you think that I'm attacking you?" And I was like, "No." I said, "Honestly, that's a great question." I said, "I don't think you're attacking me. I'm receiving it. I perceive it as being attacked, but I don't think your intentions are to attack me. It's just to really relay a message." So the fact that she was able to ask that question, now we're able to connect, and she knows that I'm only feeling offensive or feeling attacked because that's the way I receive the message.
Exactly.
But I know underneath, and I know her heart is a different place. She's coming from a different place.
Yeah.
So if you don't check in with your partner, if you don't ask your partner the right questions, if you don't make everything about you.
All right. That was just a clip where he said many relationships fail because we stop being curious about what's happening in our partner's world.
Wait, Rilla, knowledge.
Somebody says something.
She talking to Rilla in the comments.
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking Tourette's outburst. What the hell we got going on?
Because he had asked me what was today's mathematics, so that's what I was telling him.
Yeah, crazy. All right, well, y'all can go ahead and carry the conversation. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I don't. Well, Jay, I can't stand when I heard some bitch called partner. We not partners. Say that shit. Ain't nothing partner about us. We not equal, so we not partners. So, but I understand what he's trying to say, and that thing what he's saying he's talking to his wife, or his wife is talking to her husband. But whatever it is, we keeping it in the household. I think that's a problem with our community nowadays. We allow everybody in our home. Everybody knows our business. Everybody's involved, got their hand in our stew. If I'm a cook, I'm not going to let you put some goddamn seasoning in my goddamn chili. I'm the cook. You don't need to be involved in putting your extra pepper in there, or your extra season salt, or your lies and all bullshit. This is between me and my wife. We're going to figure this shit out. Now, if I'm laying hands on my wife, then I expect her to go talk to her family and do whatever she got to do to get an exit plan. If I'm physically or mentally abusing her, or financial abuser, as some of y'all ladies like to say now, because we financially abusing y'all. If I'm doing all those things, I understand why you having a conversation trying to get up through. But if none of that's going on, let me and my wife work this thing out. Why are you involved? Why is your auntie over in our business? Why does your mother feel like she could just come up the house without letting me know, without calling or getting inquiring, just pop in the fuck up? Why? Because you opened the door, allow that shit to happen. That's not what it is. A marriage between us is between us two. It's a circle of two. That's how we make a whole. If I want a square, then I will make a square, but we got to circle her. All these other sides don't need to be added to this. This ain't no goddamn octagon. It's a circle. Keep folks at your goddamn business, people. And fellas, if you don't have a woman that sits there and tells you she needs you, don't get with her. If you got a woman that doesn't tell you she needs you, don't be with her. Because let me tell you, when you need something, you do whatever you got to can to get it. When that bill needs to pay, you'll come up with that money. You want something, you ain't pressing. Or somebody give you something, you ain't pressing. You don't take care of it like you do. But if you need and you want, man, you'll go out there and do what you got to do. When you buy it yourself, you'll appreciate that shit. Because you know you need that shit. But when somebody give you don't appreciate as much as you do. You just wanted it. So you don't have a level of appreciation like you should. Find a man. Find a woman who says she needs you and watch at a level of appreciation there.
I think I got a question.
Yes, sir. I got to answer for you, big brother. You know what?
Should a man be in the same mindset and say that he need that woman?
Man, I don't know no man that don't. Like you said, unless he a sissy. And that's a different type conversation, JR. Men don't have no problem with admitting we need women in our lives. That's never been a problem for us. We now you might got a few guys who's hell bent on saying that shit because like I think they said bad experiences. But at the end of the day, you don't realize, yeah, fuck it, man. I know I've been through some shit, but I do need a woman. It may have to hurt his pride to admit it, but he will. But we know as men, we do need women. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact is you got a group of women who's saying shit like that, that's bad, man. And to be on a public platform teaching other young girls who may be watching that shit with their mothers or their grandmothers, saying this and spewing out this shit. And guess what? They're going to believe it. Why? Because it's on TV. It has to be true. Or it's on the internet. It's got to be true. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on IG. I've seen it on FB if they even use that anymore. I've seen it on X. It's got to be true. But that poisonous message is being spewed to our young girls. And that's not good.
Nope.
Right on.
I want to speak to the clip that you just showed. I think that checking in with I know I just read the comments. People don't like the word partner. Life partner. I if you want to get caught up in the semantics, you can, but I'm not. I think it's healthy to check in with your partner because emotions change. People's minds change. People grow at different paces, develop at different paces. So having a check-in is something that actually got introduced to me a couple years ago. And it really, like he said, helps you to connect with the person. It helps you to evaluate whether this is a place that you should stay or whether you should move on or, what areas need work. And also, I keep saying having the language to express your emotions. A lot of men sometimes don't know what they're feeling, or a lot of people, let me just say, don't know what they're feeling, so they don't know how to express it. But yeah, check-ins are definitely, I believe, a key to a long-term successful relationship.
But Angela, you know what? When people used to say partners back in the day, you know what that means? It means they two gay couples because they couldn't be recognized as husband and wife, or husband and husband, or wife and wife. That's why a lot of people saying things like that when you say partner.
Yeah, people. I guess that's the culture. The culture has made it that way, but partnership can be a partnership between a man and a woman and a man. I just think of it as more when I think of being with a man. You said something like we're not equal. So I wanted to ask you, what does equal mean to you? Like,
aren't you a woman?
I am a woman.
And I'm a man, so we're not equal, man.
But what I'm saying,
there's no equality. And look, your expectations for me is different from my expectations from you, correct? So as a man, you expect me to do a manly thing because I believe in gender roles. So we're not going to be equal. I don't expect you to go out there and put a battery in my truck. I don't expect you to go fill up my tank. I don't expect you to cut the yard. I don't expect that. Okay. But I'm sure that's what you expect, but in equality, I do it 1 week, you do it with Angela. Next week, you're going to cut the grass. Next week you're gonna take care of the aunt. You're gonna go out there and fix our car. Next week you're gonna go get our gas, fill it up. That's why I expect you, because we're partners, right? We're equal, right? We're
Okay.
equal, but we're not.
So when I think of equal, I think of different ways you can get to 8, different ways you can get to 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 8 plus 2 equals 10. So when I think of being equal, I don't think of necessarily doing the exact same things to bring value, but I do think of both people bringing an equal level of value to the whatever form of relationship. So I'm not saying that I can do the exact same things that you can do, but I'm saying I'm bringing just as much value as you bring. So that's my point.
If I'm in the house, somebody's knocking on the door, you don't know, I expect you to go answer that door. We equal. You can go answer the door just like I can.
Hank, I'm not about to.
I don't care if you look intimidating. I know that, but a lot of people want to. But what I'm saying is we're not equal, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with us being equal. That's the beautiful thing about us men and women. You know, when we come together, we're gonna make a beautiful thing together. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're not. It's the yin and the yang, and you want to be part of it.
I think sometimes men feel more powerful when they feel like they're more significant than the other person. But I think that there's power in understanding that you have value and your woman, your lady, your wife has value too. So like the whole superiority like complex, I like equal means equal. That's why I asked you what you feel like it meant in the beginning of the conversation, because regardless of what you do, that does not shrink or take away from what I'm doing to contribute to what we're building. So that's just like saying the engineer is not the engineer, and the actual people who built the building are not equally as important in the project of the building being complete. Like everybody has their part and they're different parts, but everyone's part is important and everyone's part is equally important.
But that doesn't devalue the person. The architect is the person that comes up with it all. So if there's no architect who in that situation is superior, then the building is non-existent.
So if there's no people to build it, then what the architect's idea would never come to fruition.
But you can get anybody to build a building.
You can't get anybody to build a building. You have to have a certain skill set in order to build a building, or else we will all be building buildings.
No, well, look, I'm not talking about architecting and building buildings. I'm talking about building relationships. So there's jobs and gender roles. There's hierarchy. I believe in all of that. Whether you want to believe in it or not, that's your choice. But I do believe in hierarchy. I do believe in gender roles, and that's how I roll. Now, you can say I'm archaic and call me old-fashioned. That's cool. I'm okay with you. Just not the woman for me, and I'm okay with that too. But guess what? When it comes to the certain households and how things are run, it runs at a certain level. Is there a strength about me? Yes. I'm strong in certain areas and you're not. And that's okay. You're strong in certain areas and I'm not. You know what the woman's strength? It's her femininity. If she rests in it, she could conquer the world. But the problem is most ladies don't want to do that. They want to be partners. They want to be just as powerful and on that same level as me. We can't. We're not built the same. We don't handle certain pressures. I got these broad shoulders for a reason. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me. But you don't handle because you're not ready for the things I have to carry. I'm like Atlas. I got to carry the weight of the world on my shoulder. But you're not built for that. But you're built to give birth to my son or my daughter. You're built for that. Rest in it. Enjoy it. Love it.
So hold on real quick. So I do like to bring up definitions, and maybe some people may look at it because of the definition, but here we go. Partner is either a pair of people engaged together in the same activity. Arrange the children in pairs so that each person has a partner. Definition number 2, either a member of a married couple or of an established unmarried couple. Example, she lived with her partner. And then you also have the verb down there as well. Be the partner of. An example is young farmers who partner Isabel to the village dance.
Back to the equality part. I think that when in a relationship, be it a marriage or partnership, whatever you want to label it, if there's a failure in that relationship, 9 out of 10 is going to be on the man. We learned early on in the book of Genesis that when God gave the rules of the Garden of Eden to Adam and Eve, once he found out that they did something, he addressed Adam, because Adam was supposed to be over his wife. And I don't talk to your wife, I talk to you because you're over your wife. So I think that it's all rooted in that, and the accountability falling upon the man. So in that sense, I agree with Hank. Men and women aren't equal. It's if I got into a dispute with you, Angela, and we're going back and forth, if someone else looks at that, they are then going to side, well, they should side with the woman, because a man shouldn't be bickering and going back and forth with a woman. That man is supposed to handle that with another man. So again, that's another point of where most women want to not be equal, so it's we have to keep that across the board, because yeah, we may be both humans, we're both in the same human race, but it's we're not actually equal. There's many different things that shows and proves that through the build of people, the accountability, the expectations. So there's not equal expectations, so we can't be equal. Now that doesn't devalue the place of a woman, and I think that that's the part where most women are triggered by it, because they think that, oh, okay, well, I'm deemed less valuable to you, and that's not the case, because the human race can't continue on without women. So we have real men out here that appreciate and treasure and protect our women, because we know that we're not equal. So I have to do my job that was given to me by God to protect and do my job that he told us to do.
Okay. So when we talk about being equal, right? What makes us not equal? Because you're physically stronger and I'm not physically stronger? Because, and when you said accountability is really, I mean, everyone should, all adults should be accountable. So I don't understand that point. But like when you say not equal, what makes the man more superior? Like what responsibility or like what makes the man not equal to the woman is what I'm trying to understand.
It's the expectation.
The expectation.
A man is expected to lay down his life for his woman. A woman doesn't have that expectation. A
I
man.
disagree, sir.
I do too.
Women lose their life giving birth just to bring legacy. She can die. So we have that same type of scenario as well.
Not every woman having children. So then what?
You say what now, Hank?
Not every woman are having children. So then what?
We're not getting caught up on that. She's saying something that's
women. No, yes, women. Not every woman has children, but you just made the statement that is what women were created for. So if most majority of women are having children, they're putting their life in risk to bring your kids into this world. So we're not going to excuse that. We are also sacrificing our life too, especially according to what you said is our.
Oh, let me. I got it, Hank. So I agree with that, and I acknowledge that all day. But the thing is that women were made for that. You're literally designed to give birth.
So were you designed to die for the wife?
Mr. Viz, you just said, and Hank just said that some women don't give birth. Some women are barren. Some women cannot give birth. So again, there's some women who are made to be mothers. There's some women who are born who are not made to be mothers. Yes, we might have the organs, but that doesn't mean that we are all supposed to be mothers. But I'm just trying to state from what you were saying before. You're saying that it was your responsibility to lay down your life for your wife and your family. She's laying down her life by even producing you a family, but you don't even see that as equivalent. You just made the statement that you wouldn't even have a nation without a woman, but then yet women is so inferior to men.
I never said that women were inferior to men.
You cannot even reproduce yourself. But then again, you're still talking to women in this kind of lower, inferior type of situation. And that would make women offensive because we know that you can't reproduce yourself without us.
So, but you're taking it completely out of the context of what it is. I never
No,
said
I'm
that.
not. I'm really not, Mr. Wiz. I'm literally going on the basis of how it's coming across to women when you speak. You're saying that you have this such high value of women because we can bear your children, but then everything else in the aspect of us is inferior into you.
I never said
that. That is backwards. That is backwards. You wouldn't even, but sir, you wouldn't even be here if your mother didn't decide to bear you in this world. There should be more value towards that.
I never devalued that. I don't know where you picked that up from what it is that I said.
No, I'm just talking about the question in general, not necessarily what you said, Mr. Viz. I'm just saying when it reads off to women, you're saying that we're so insignificant in everything else that literally the only thing that we're only destined to do is to bear children. You're destined to give down your life. Mind you, you're not even destined. You decide whether or not you want to give down your life or not. Most of y'all decide.
I don't remember nobody saying that though. Who said that?
You did say that, Mr. Hick. You said that earlier.
No, don't put that on me.
Did
Ma'am,
you say
don't put that on me. I never said
lay down your life?
I never said I was insignificant.
Job to lay down your life.
Ma'am, I never said it was insignificant. So don't do that, ma'am.
Yeah, nobody said that it was
So
insignificant.
the way that you're approaching the conversation is making it seem like it's very insignificant. You're making it seem that women are so inferior, but then yet you're also saying their highest value is to bear my children. You also made it seem like you're the only one risking your life. But if a woman is to produce your child, she is putting her life at risk before you even get to a scenario where you have to take your life for her. So this is what I'm saying. She is initially giving the blood sacrifice before you even give the blood sacrifice, but we're so inferior to you.
That's not so. Two things again.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I never said that for one.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So whenever somebody says something, if it's not clear, right? Because I'm hearing the word, it sounds like you said this, right? So if somebody says something and it sounds like they're saying whatever it is that I'm thinking, I'm going to ask them for clarification. So the proper thing to do, MJ, is to say, Hink, I just want clarification with this particular statement that you said. You mentioned this. This is what it sounds like. Can you clarify? And then that way we can kind of move further, because if we keep going around and saying, having discussions on what it sounds like, then we're not really coming and having a very intelligent conversation. So like, what is it that he said in particular that you need him to clarify so we're not going around in circles?
Okay, so what I need Mr. Hink to clarify, he said that literally the only thing that our whole entire existence is just to bear his children, right? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Then that's where I got it wrong, because it came off that way to me.
That's all right. I forgive you for being wrong, man.
So I apologize.
I accept your apology, man, for being wrong.
Yeah.
Now,
like
I just want to say this. Now, just think about how often people have conversations, right?
Wait, well, can he clarify what he said that she was wrong?
That's something else too that you can further, because even though he said he didn't mean that, then you can also follow up by asking him, what is it that you mean? If you need further clarification, then it's up to Hink if he wants to disclose that or not. Go ahead, Hink.
So what's the question then? So hold on. Who's asking me the question? Is Mistaken the question, or is MJ asking the question?
I'm asking because MJ went off, and I'm going by what she said she heard.
And we can wait till she come back. She can ask me the question. You're not going to speak for her unless you're a lawyer, right?
Well, I do have a question for you in regards to what she said, the same thing.
All right, so
And
you gonna get your
so what
question
I
across
heard,
anyway. Go ahead,
right?
ma'am.
So what I heard was that you were saying that your responsibility, you believe in roles, and you said you're going to take care of, protect, provide, and your role is to go ahead and have my kids. So I think that's where
So that's the only thing
that
I heard me say.
no, I'm talking about that part. So
Okay.
that's where the clarification is needed.
Okay,
Because
what's
it
your
was
question?
interpreted as that's what your role is to have the children. So that's what I'm trying to say. The clarification in terms of what did you mean by that, or a deeper understanding.
So what I meant by that she has, I believe in gender roles. That's what I said. I believe in hierarchy. That's what I said. So one of the things that she was built and blessed to make for us, the blessings to bless us with children. What does that got to do with saying a woman, that's her only role? No, she got more than one role. I said rest in her femininity. That's another thing that she can rule the world as part of what I said. But I don't know where does that got to do with anything about what she's talking about. That's the only thing y'all made for. No, we need y'all more than that. I need you more than just to make kids. Because like I said, some women don't have kids. So then that makes you less important. No, you got other roles you can do than just making kids and take care of kids.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, that's
Hold
what
on,
I'm saying.
does that answer your question, ma'am?
For the clarification.
But does that answer your question? Because you really didn't have a question. You just made a damn statement. But did that answer what you're looking for?
Oh, I did ask a question. I said, can you please clarify what you meant? That's a question mark on the end of that.
I got you, man. Right on. Angela,
but I
you got
do
a
have
question,
some
man?
say. I think part of the thing is and I'm just speaking in general, not to anybody directly, but in terms of my thought process. I think part of the thing is that what women hear when we hear we're not equal is that has been a struggle from the beginning of the time in terms of treatment. And so when women hear that, it's saying that for us, you're not equal. So therefore, you're not going to be treated with value. And I'm, again, like I said, I'm not saying that this is what Hink is saying. I'm just talking about historically and experience wise is that's what happens. So for some it is a trigger when you hear that. I do think that there is a difference between equity and equality, right? The goal is the same in terms of promoting a level of fairness within the relationship. So that's the part that I think women are trying to convey. I think the other part is when you hear we're not equal, you hear different. And I think a lot of times we're conditioned to believe that different means inferior, right? Or what's the word that I was looking for? That difference.
Is it dominant?
No. It'll come back to me.
But when did
hold on, Biz. Let her finish her thought. Let her complete
So
her
I'm
thought.
not. So again, what I'm saying is no. That's why I said I'm speaking in general. I'm not saying anything specifically to anybody. I'm speaking more so for okay, that's the word I was looking for. That difference means deficit, right? That there's you're equating being different to being a deficit. I just think part of the thing is that there's a equal, and we had this conversation on our show before about we are equal in essence in terms of our value, what we bring to each other. I know some people aren't religious, but it's a Sunday. So, what I'm saying is that even like we both came from dirt. We were both molded in his image, those things. So only thing we are is just the other side of you, that yin and yang. So you need both of those aspects in order to reach your highest potential, your highest self. Without one, you're never fully get to your potential, because even I would say religious wise, that God gave us both commandment to go forth and have a family, right? To go forth. So that could not happen without us putting in the equal contribution to make that occur. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's the part that a lot of women have trouble with when you look at historically how things occurred, with the mindset of things are not being equal.
Yeah.
And there's a
So
trigger.
I got you, Viz. I'm coming to you. One of the things that we have to do as people is that we have to change our mindset and how we approach conversations, how we hear things. Because what someone should do, and this is my opinion, is they should ask further questions. A lot of times we get so hung up on what some people are saying, and the conversation never goes nowhere because you done blew up. I can't believe you said this, instead of asking the question. So if somebody says women and men are not equal, a follow-up question that I would probably do is, okay, well, explain to me like what it is that they're not equal in, so that I can have further context in order to be able to make the decision on whether this person aligns with me or not. Often good speakers, or either when people say something, sometimes they may say, I don't think men and women are equal, and here's why. And then they just lay down a list of things as far as what it is that as to why they believe in their personal opinion. And again, everything is opinion based. I mean, think about politics. You know, they're going to say, well, we're going to rid like taxes we're going to tax people who have money. Okay, well, why is that? And how does that help people who don't make money? What is the benefit? People hear that and then they just easily just get triggered, because like a lot of times people are being labeled something that they're really not, and you don't have a general understanding as to why they came to the conclusion that they came with when it comes to their opinion. So just to be fair, we can't assume. We have to try to gain as much context and data as possible. We have to seek understanding. If we don't seek, that's a lot of times these conversations blow up is because they question him. And if he or she doesn't want to answer the question, that's going to say a lot.
I just to kind of piggyback off what you said. I asked Hank what his understanding of equal meant, and I just challenge men who do have that same ideology in terms of hierarchy or in terms of men and women not being equal, that you ask yourself why. Like, what makes us not equal? What do you as men feel like you contribute that is more superior than what the woman contributes? And I just challenge with that question.
So
so when you listen to the words you use, superior, what
my good sir, you said high.
Look here, let me say this. If that, what does it got to do with superior, man?
Hierarchy. So the idea of hierarchy is a scale of superior to inferior, and there's a whole bunch in between. So superior and hierarchy are in the same field, if that makes sense. They're in the same subject matter. They are contingent upon each other.
So I'm curious. With us saying that we're not equal, that again, that does not mean that one is less valuable than the other. That doesn't devalue what it is that the other person brings.
So
right?
what makes us not equal?
And also, Mistaken had mentioned two things. So for the past 3 hours, all 4 men on the panel essentially have been defending women, saying that they need women. They have an utmost respect for women. So I don't understand with those contexts of this entire time that we just had for you guys to assume that we think less of women and what it is that they bring to the table. The other part as well is, when did being different become a bad thing?
I think there's a
It's one of those factors where with fruit, you have a watermelon and you have a banana. Both of these fruits do two different things. You have plants, you have a blade of grass, and you have an oak tree. They both do two different things. Yes, they are absolutely different, and they play different roles, so their equality is different. So when I was speaking on it, that's what I was mean. That's the theory, the thought process that I have behind it. It's not a, oh, I'm more superior than you and you're inferior. That's not the case. All it is that there's a different expectation that society has for men that they don't have for women. So in that case, we are not equal. Even with going back to the point of us of men essentially going to war, they were doing that at 13, 14 before they even had children. You know what I'm saying? So again, there's no equality in that, because up until recently, that's when women were on the battlefield fighting for what was going on back at home. But that was the expectation of every single man that has been passed through a womb on this planet. So by that statement, we're not equal, and there's nothing wrong with it. It does not mean that you guys are inferior. It does not mean that you guys are below us. It just means that there is a hierarchy where it is God, man, woman, child. That's the order. So and that's the order that most women want. Women want to be led. So if I'm leading you, if you expect me to lead you, in most cases, women don't want someone that is equal to them. They want something that's going to, they want a man that's going to provide and give them more and lead them and take them. So the only way that is going to happen is if this man is more superior. Most women are attracted by men that are more dominant. They don't want some shrimp skinny ass nigga that's 5'2". We see that all the time on the balloon shows. They, as soon as a motherfucker walk in and they under 6 feet, they popping. You know
Viz,
what I'm saying? So
Viz, what I'm
I
saying is
don't get it.
there's again, I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. We are equal in essence, but not equal in responsibility. So those are two different things. So I think where women is looking at is the essence part. When you guys are talking about it, I'm just telling you how we're interpreting it. Okay. Again, based on history, right? And even current day experiences as women. Our role in society, the way that it's impacted is that we are always at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, right? We just received certain rights. We didn't get right to vote until everybody else. So I think that that's part of where our relationship with the equal thing come in. The same that I guess y'all would feel like if we were talking about like white men, right? In society, you guys don't get treated equal, even though you guys are equal in essence. Y'all are both men, right? So I think that for women, that's what we feel because we've experienced what y'all have, but from a gender side of it. So when we're saying equal, we're saying no, we're just as important. We're have just as much value as you. So the equal in essence, but you're right, we're not equal in responsibility.
I mean, the
And you're
obvious
not,
is that we're
real
equal
quick,
in
real
essence
quick. And
because we're both human beings. That's the obvious. What we're talking about is the responsibility of man and woman. I get it. Y'all took it to a different, you know what I'm saying, path, but that's not what we're talking about. We know that we are both humans. We're both human beings. We have the same organs and all the other shit, aside from the sexual organs, right?
Everybody hold saying, let's let Jay get in there because we're about to end shortly, but Jay about to ready to go after the statement. So let's let Jay go, and then we'll wrap this conversation up within the next 5 minutes, y'all.
All right, so I just wanted to speak on the first video in terms of Joy Behar and Sonny Houston speaking on, you know, we don't need men. I mean, clearly that's an agenda. You understand what I'm saying? That's something they're trying to push. Sonny Houston is married to an orthopedic surgeon. She has been for 10 plus years. Joy Behar is married to a middle school teacher. And I mean, she was the most aggressive with that commentary. So, I mean, I'm sure if I was her husband, I would definitely have a problem with somebody calling me useless. So clearly it's an agenda that they're trying to push. I agree with you, Ms. Taken, in terms of we're equal in essence, but not equal in responsibility. And we're not equal in consequence either. And you know that for a fact. Like, y'all, I think somebody up here spoke on war. Y'all were allowed to live. Women and kids, you know, they got to hang out. Us, we're out of here. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not equal in consequence either. We're equal because our consequence, we're equal. Well, let me repeat this. We're not equal in consequence because the things that you lack, our consequence is harsher because we're men. So yes, we are equal in essence because we bring similar things. I mean, we bring different things that add to the relationship. We can't get mixed in semantics. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you understand, if you know what you're bringing to a relationship and you feel like that's not being reciprocated, if their responsibility is not reciprocating that, then you need to be going with that relationship. And I think, you know, to push that men are useless, I mean, clearly anybody in their right mind, like if you ask those women to snap their fingers and remove everything that men created, what do you think that show would look like? It would literally be eyelashes and stockings and probably some hair on that show. You know, the building wouldn't even be there. So clearly there's an agenda, and we just can't, we have to push to keep a balance. You know, so sometimes you may see people going a little harder than they should with conveying that message. But when you have people on one end that are literally saying men are useless, you know, there has to be some pushback. But I think, once again, like Ms. Taken said it perfectly, we are equal in essence, but our consequences are much different. People care about women. People cater to women. You know, people cater to kids. With us, we have to figure that shit out. From day one, when we were born, we had to figure that shit out. You fall, I don't want to hear that shit. Get up, figure that shit out. You know, that's how we were born. That's how we were raised. So when you try to take what was instilled in us from day one and manipulate it into something else, or even, you know, tell us to be something different than we're naturally supposed to be, there's going to be pushback. You know, there's going to be, I mean, there's growth, there's evolution, but you're trying to change what somebody innately is. And I mean, you're going to have conversations like this. You're always going to have, but I think, like JR said, it just needs to be an understanding. What you heard was inferiority. What Hank was explaining was being a man, like knowing that our consequences are different. When we go out here, there's certain things that we're going to experience that you have no clue about. There's certain things that y'all experience that we can understand. You can explain it to us and we can empathize with it, but we'll never understand. You know, when y'all go to work, y'all get hit on. When y'all walk out the door of y'all buildings and get hit on. We'll never understand that. We can empathize, but we'll never understand it, just like y'all won't. But there needs to be some grace within that. And, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to say too is that sometimes if you just listen long enough, like you can really tell when people are going through things. Like you ever just sit back and just listen to the things they saying and ever think like why they saying that? Like a lot of people are hurt, like both men and women. Like sometimes everything don't even need to be you don't have to respond to everything. Like there's been many, I'm not gonna say I've always been like this because I used to be a little high head when I was younger, right? But once I started to like really put things into perspective and start looking at people just be peopling, it's gonna always stop, man. Usually when people got so much energy to say certain things and you don't see them doing that in their own life, it's a reason why they doing it. Like people seek validation from everybody, from people. Like they move because they're so concerned about what people think about them. Like people don't have the courage to be able to just have an independent mindset. Um, it's rare for people to be able to think on their own. So when you see people, as to Jay's point, when you see them saying these things, some people just talking just because they got a platform, or they talking just because they have an audience that will listen to them. Now you can't really pay none of that no attention. Like you really got to look past what they saying and see their action. But it's a lot of hurt folks out here, man. It's a lot of hurt folks, a lot of people that are gonna push agendas. It's a lot of people that don't even believe half of the stuff that they that was you off camera. I thought that was me. I got them at the bottom there. But yeah, it's just a lot of people just I just sit back and laugh. I just sit back and laugh. I'm just grateful I woke up to experience another day. Like another day of challenges, another day of ups and downs, another day of trying to figure it out. Because that's what we all trying to do, is trying to figure it out. You just got to kind of tailor a little bit and make it make sense in your own world. But life is just going to keep lifing, man. I still don't know why we overcomplicating this. We only got one life. I woke up this morning to experience this, whatever it may come. I woke up again just to be able to experience it. So I'm grateful for that, man. Y'all really be tripping about. Y'all be so hungover when people say these shock value and things. Like, who cares? Like, don't talk to them. You know, let them be what they're going to be. But go ahead, Angela. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But I want to say, Jay, you explained that very well. I think that what we got misunderstood was the context in which we were speaking about equal. And that's kind of what I kept posing the question of what that meant so that I could understand where you were coming from and vice versa. And mistaken, you also pretty much elaborated on my point in a way that made it clear. So I appreciate y'all.
All right. Anybody else got any final
So,
thoughts?
yeah, well, I'm just trying to figure out where was the equality when Mistaken cut off Viz. What was the equality in that? There was no equality. I didn't hear JR correct Mistaken for doing that, but please believe when Viz was cutting off Mistaken's ass, JR said, hey, let her finish her thought. But there was no equality in that. God damn, we are not equal. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with us not being equal. We're not the same. We are not. That's the beauty. That's why I keep saying, that's the beauty about it, man. I don't want to be the same as MJ. I don't want her to be the same as me. So now we got to go back and forth. She's standing up to P. Fuck that shit too, motherfucker. No, we are not equal, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with not being the same. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. We deal with it. Right. Just like as men, we have to deal with it on a regular basis. You can't go out here and get the same expectations of me as a man. If my relationship fails and the marriage fails, they're not gonna look at you. They're gonna say, dude, what was you doing? Why did your relationship fail? They're gonna hold Hank accountable because he's the leader of the household. They're gonna hold me accountable. And it could be all Angela's fault. She could have been acting the fool and doing things, spending our money knowing we ain't got it. But guess what? Hank, why did you allow her to do it? Why did you allow her to overspend like that? Why did you allow her to get you all evicted? And I got to accept that as a leader. As far as this hierarchy, as a man, I got to accept that. And I got to answer that. I got to address that. I got to atone for that shit. But I'm okay with the responsibilities. Because that's what I'm as a man. That's what we got to do.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all like another cheat code too is when people say things, just ask is there any truth in it? Is there any truth in it? So when you listen to Hink, is there any truth into what he's saying? You don't have to put it almost. Is there any truth into what he's saying? Because there are some people when you say equal, they think that they are equal to men on all levels.
True.
Like if he says, like you getting loud, and you say, I'm not getting loud. I'm not getting loud. Is there any truth into what he's saying? Like, did your voice, like, date back to when y'all first started talking, like 10 minutes ago? Is your voice at a different tone than what it is now? If there's any truth to it, then you have to surrender. Like a lot of people, one of the hardest things for people to be is accountable. It's rare. So when you hear people fighting, I wasn't always that way. I tell people I was not always the man that I am today. But I learned to always apply logic. And then when I started applying things logic, I'm like, damn, this should make a whole lot of sense. Everything started making sense. Always lead with logic. So, and I hear people say, I never heard somebody say that because I started applying logic to it. Logic always wins. Emotions, they never do. You can feel something, but then on the external, or when you're receiving it, when you're shaping it, just make sure that you shape it with logic. In order to shape with logic, you got to have support in your thought. So you have to get support to what it is that you think, and then that's how you're able to kind of flip it and say, okay, well, this makes sense for me. It may not make sense for the next person, but at least it makes sense for you. But you got to have something to support that. And if the support makes sense, then you can kind of lean on that more logical side. This is how I typically problem solve. I'm just giving y'all the game. Just ask yourself, is it any truth in it? If it's any truth in it, just stop what you're doing. Cut the chaos out. Surrender. It starts up here. That mindset is everything, man. If y'all could change y'all mindset on how y'all view things, life would be so much easier. I could be going through hell right now, and y'all wouldn't even know it. You want to know why? It's all about the mindset. This is Earth. I don't know who the hell told y'all Earth is going to be easy. I don't know who told y'all living was going to be easy, but this is the part of life, man. Go ahead.
Hey, let me say something to you, okay? I know this is the end, so I'm just going to put a little humor in it, okay? You've been talking about bitches and hoes. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say that on here. Prior to me coming on, you was talking stuff. You were talking very derogatory towards women. So when you did say that men and women were not equal, that is what gave me the context as far as my defense. And that's kind of why I wanted you to elevate. But you need to be more mindful before you be trying to check somebody.
Yes. I knew it. I knew it. Look, first of all, you didn't hear me use the word bitch. I didn't say bitch. Now I might say heifers, but I didn't say bitch. So don't put that on me. You're lying on me now, and it's not very feminine like. Come on now. Don't do me like that. I understand. Look here, you're a fan, and that's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you being a fan. I don't blame you. If I was you, I'd be a fan of me too.
You know what? Ain't ignorance. We're gonna move on.
Because you know it's true, and that's okay. Accept that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
All right, let me get these super chats, man. We go and get up out of here. Y'all dropping like flies. Right past that bedtime. Well, daytime. Queen Lady Di, $2 says, honest conversation. Are all men useful, really? Queen again, $2 says, thanks for being honest, Angela. Big Ant 11, $10. Shout out to Hink and that Keith Sweat album, even though Keith sounds like a mosquito at times. $5 says, peace to the gods and earth, mistaken. Peace. Wiz, what's today's mathematics, beloved? Civilized to 85. Rilla again, $5 says, visit the estates of Edward and Betty Ann Gardner earlier today. She needed him clearly, but I guarantee he needed her as well. Do y'all Googles. And to the Black Dragon, $2 says, a woman can never be equal to a man in responsibility. Will Dickens, $5 says, Adam has no mother but a God, and so did Eve. They are both our examples to follow. When you compare genders, you devalue the woman. King didn't. Kelvin Cook, $5 says, all these ifs and buts and what ifs. Ain'ts, but so much time left. I got options. I'm on my way out. Chicken heads, don't play it out. Yeah. Queen, $2. Mistaken is being one with your husband equals you. Advanced Perception, $2 says, best examples of gender equality. Look at Ukraine. And lastly, Advanced Perception, $5 during these debates. Is that how you say that word? Debates? Did I say it correctly?
I think they were trying to say debate.
Yeah.
Debate.
It was a typo.
Listen, y'all, I'm learning new words all the time. I have no problem admitting it. I look forward to expanding my vocabulary. So when I see these words, I best believe I was going to look it up to see if it was a word. But I appreciate the intelligence on the panel today. During these debates, people get so caught up. And the context was right after I would have just kept reading. I got so hung up on the word. I'm human. I make mistakes. People get so caught up in trying to win an argument and never ask themselves why. Never ask, why do I need this so bad? Thank you, everybody that's contributed to the platform. Thank you, Angela, for pulling up on the second half. And I want to thank everybody who's on the panel. Allie, Biz, Mistaken, Hink, St. Larice, Van Dam. That's so many names. Jay, everybody, man. Thank you. I have to leave again. Thanks. Oh, that's MJ. All right. Hit the like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to the